Today, just like in the Valve store, we have to increase the prices of all our products by 40% because of RAM? Sure.
This is RAM-Point.
Those toques and shirts and scarves and
Bears, oh my.
and playmats are being sorely affected by global memory shortages.
Yeah.
Like people have forgotten?
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So we don't have to worry about it. They won't remember.
It's fine.
It's quiet in the moon base today.
Yeah, everything got canceled.
Yeah, it's the start of the Riftbound regional qualifier
Also,
in Vancouver.
we sent everyone off the island.
Yeah, not everybody actually.
We sent everyone
Several
off
people
the island.
went off the island. So if you,
I ruled the island now.
if you live in the Vancouver area, or if you're just like, boy, I could stand making a day trip or some nonsense to Vancouver. I mean, you could do that before FIFA starts making everything extremely expensive.
I think they've already started.
Is it already that expensive?
I don't know. I don't go places.
There were some hotels that in some of the host cities that were going for $1,000 a night because they're like, oh well, obviously everyone's going to come crawling in here for whatever, and then nobody's been booking them.
Yeah,
because it's in crazy prices, right? And so they've been very quietly falling and
nobody
falling
cares
and falling
that
in
much
price.
about sports.
FIFA's going to be in Vancouver?
It's going to be in 16 different host cities or something like that across North America.
Getting like some of it.
Yeah.
Maybe,
If you want
I
to,
don't know.
if you want to watch Germany play, you have to go to
German?
fucking Mexico City, and then I think like the MetLife Stadium in New Jersey, and then I think into Toronto, something like that.
Doesn't that sort of defeat the purpose of having I thought the whole point of it, like an event, is to have it all in a central location.
Yeah, I don't
like now. That's just an international. That's just like a tournament. Like it's just continuing.
Hey,
exactly right.
Hey,
anyway,
I didn't sign up for this show to talk about sports.
I'm sorry.
Logistically, it's so
him.
weird, right?
You're just here.
Because
not your fault. It's never your fault.
When a country hosts that kind of thing, you assume that everyone's playing in the same place, but
it's never Paul's
Heather
fault.
says it's not my fault.
I'm sure there's only like one clip of me blaming you for something, but I'm pretty sure most of the time I definitely stand on the side of Paul's never wrong.
Yeah. It's just so weird to me because I'm like in Europe where they were in one place where they definitely like the World Cup, it's like it seems like they can actually hold it there. And everyone can like dash back and forth between countries and stadiums and do the whatever. And then it's like, well, it's going to come to North America. It's like, yes, you'll all have to fly constantly.
Did they not realize how far apart things are?
Nobody ever seems to.
Anyway.
Phone call. Hello.
So the way I've learned to stop Beach now is to get him a phone call.
I see. It's the FIFA legal board is calling. They're like, we heard you were disparaging us.
Who knows? Probably. What are we here for?
Hey, welcome to ChillPoint, the show where we talk about the week's video game news, as well as occasional sports news, apparently.
No,
Okay.
that's not true.
That was it. That was the last piece of sports news.
It's not, because Beach keeps watching baseball clips. But it should be.
So yeah, let's get into this week's episode of ChillPoint.
Yeah, I don't remember them doing anything.
On ChillPoint?
Yeah.
No.
Must be all the RAM shortages.
It's true. Which actually, yeah, I wrote the.
It's kind of in the intro.
I wrote the intro to this, and yeah, we didn't actually do a story about it, but I kind of snuck it into the intro.
The Steam Deck's going up.
Yeah, both
Has
Steam
gone
Decks.
up?
Yes, it went up.
Like they went up immediately.
It went up on the 22nd, 23rd, something like that. This wasn't the kind of price increase that they could be like, we're going to be doing it next week, because this was a 40% price increase.
Yeah, I mean, I assume it's because they don't manufacture as many.
Well, I mean,
something.
The funny thing is it's been out of stock. They did this price increase, it went back in stock, and then within a day it was sold out again. So apparently either the stock was low, very low, or I guess the demand was still there even at the higher price.
I mean, it's been weird because like I think Sony when they did their price increase, gave everybody about a week.
Yeah.
Nintendo price increase, at least for us, doesn't happen until September.
Yeah, they're giving a lot of warning.
So you want your Switch 2, it's $50 cheaper, you can get it now.
But this is,
this one was immediate.
And this, like, it went from 500 to 700.
Which is the biggest price increase we've seen.
And the OLED one went from, the went from, the regular one went from 550 to 789, and the 1 terabyte one went from 650 to 950. So over 40%.
Yeah.
46% and 43% price increase on both models. Woof.
So maybe try to get one used. That does happen.
Mm-hmm.
Because they originally came out with an LCD model that was cheaper that they don't sell anymore, I think.
Yeah, there was originally an LCD and now it's OLED.
Yeah.
I love that they also, like, one thing about, this obviously sucks, but, Valve is still Valve, and they go, the Steam Deck, they didn't even try to pretend. They go, the Steam Deck hasn't changed.
I mean, maybe it's better they don't try to pretend.
These new prices reflect the current state of component costs and global logistics challenges across the industry as a whole. We will keep you updated if anything changes. So they're not trying to pretend that, like, this is like, oh, we, like, updated it and made more value for the customer. No. Nothing has changed.
Yeah, I still assume that they have a much smaller manufacturing than, say, any of the bigger consoles do, and so their prices are probably higher for some of their parts. And
they don't have and they probably can't do the thing where you, like, lock in the prices months down the road to try to.
Probably not,
because they just are not doing the volume.
Was that FIFA?
No.
Oh.
It's like, we heard you've been saying bad stuff about us.
No, it's probably, I think it might be like FIFA official sponsor for phones, TELUS. I don't know. It was a TELUS call though, so that's good. It was a good thing that I want, and they'll probably actually call back because there's some other stuff that might need to be done, and so I'm going to leave my phone out here.
Oh, weird. Yeah. I've never had a phone call from anyone that I've ever wanted.
It's so weird to be like, we're calling you because we have a thing that we're supposed to have done, and so we're doing it now. I'm like, yes, and then I confirmed everything. Okay. Great, we'll call you back when it's all finished. I'm like, awesome.
All right.
Yeah. Well,
we were just saying that the sort of bonus extra little mention in the intro about the increase in prices on the Steam Deck.
Yes.
Which is obviously sucky. And as someone who is super stoked about the Steam box,
the machine,
when they were talking about that a few months ago. And my excitement has
withered
steadily. I wouldn't say I'm still excited to see it, but gotten more apprehensive.
They haven't declared a price or anything for that, have they? Because they
have not
waiting, and
they have quite noticeably have not.
Like the only news that I've actually liked out of the whole everything's gotten more expensive is that I think Sony said, you know what, the PlayStation 6 might take longer to come out, and I'm like, good. I don't think anyone needs it right now.
Yeah, let it cook. Maybe it is a artifact of getting older, but the length of time between these kind of things when they come out and stuff starts to feel like maybe it isn't as important that they're coming out like rapidly. And I think maybe that is just a thing of like, the older I get, the more I'm like, it's okay, you can let that stuff simmer for a while. It's not
Yeah, and I mean, it is definitely, it's not a new phenomenon. It's a sort of well-known phenomenon that the jumps in technology that we have now are not as pronounced.
Yeah, they're not revolutionary in the way that we remember them being.
Yeah, and especially, if you are somebody who is mostly playing, 1080 gaming.
Yeah.
It's funny because it has been kind of a problem for like, on the PC side, it's been a problem for like graphics card manufacturers.
Yeah.
Because there hasn't, like, if you are playing, if you are like at 1080p gaming, finding a convincing reason to upgrade a graphics card was actually kind of tough. Like, past sort of the, especially like the 2000, like the NVIDIA 2000 series. I'm sure there are lots of people watching right now who are very happy with their 2000 series, 3000 series. Yeah. I've got a 1070 at home, which is, a little showing its age a little bit. And some of the new games it doesn't play so well. But that card is like 10 years old.
Yeah.
The trying to figure out rational reasons why people need to buy a 5090 for $1,000 or more.
Yeah. I was seeing 3070s, or is it 3070s? RTX 3070s. Graham and I were looking the other day on Newegg and just seeing prices at random, being like, you want a refurb one? You can get one for $700, $800. You want a brand new 3000 series card? That's going to cost you $1,700. And I'm like, that's 2 generations old.
Yeah. Those are pretty old then.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm okay with the idea of consoles being like every 10 years or so.
Yeah.
As a thing. I would prefer if games didn't take 10 years to make, and maybe if they stopped trying to push them all to look realistic, we could have that.
I feel like I could have waited 1 more year for the Switch 2 to come out, but I don't think I could have waited 3.
But it is one of those things though that like, and yeah, I mean, I think, the slightly ironic aspect is because the Switch has, is and has historically been somewhat underpowered
compared to the current generation that it
but
comes out in.
It was also out for 8 years.
Yeah.
But in comparison to the other systems, it's got more sort of headroom. Like, using the technology that is currently available.
Right.
You could come out with a Switch 3 like now. That would be a substantial upgrade to a Switch 2.
And it would be $1,200.
It would be really expensive and they wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
And it probably wouldn't even work in the it wouldn't work in the like form factor they want and stuff. But what I'm saying is that there is the current state of video technology and processors and video cards and stuff is such that if you really wanted to push it, you could make a thing that was as big a jump as the Switch 2 from the Switch 1 to the Switch to like a Switch 3.
Sure.
It would be very expensive and blah, 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 but it could be done.
It's funny too, though, because looking at that, like saying that's one thing. And then at the same time, Apple brings out the MacBook Neo, which is one of their phone, like iPhone, iPad processors, right? It's an A18X or A18X Pro or the A19X Pro or whatever the hell it is, whatever they call it. But it's like it's their best phone CPU, their best iPad CPU, and has like I think just 8 gigs of RAM or whatever on it. I don't think you can get one with 16 or whatever. And they're just like, here you go. And everyone's testing this thing to be like, well, how does it stack up against an M1? And I'm like, that's fair because it's a laptop. But at the same time, my expectation would be that you'd be able to get it to do 1080p gaming just fine because you're already getting people to play video games on their phones. I'm like, well, any video game that runs on the phone would run, that runs amazing on like an iPad Pro or something, should run just as amazing on that. But people aren't playing the iPhone, iPad versions of those games that have been heavily optimized or whatever.
Right.
They're playing the ones that run on Mac OS, which are going to be optimized probably for like Metal running on M1 or M2 or whatever, that kind of thing. And it's just kind of weird for me to think that, they released a state-of-the-art whatever without a touchscreen and with a keyboard and mouse interface, but if it's phone gaming, the expectation is that this thing should absolutely scream at phone gaming, which people playing like Fortnite and PUBG Mobile and all that kind of crap. You can do amazing phone gaming on your phone, but this laptop will not do that for you.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's
the same shit inside.
But yeah. In that case, obviously the software and everything makes a big difference. It is a phone processor, but it is not running a phone OS.
Yeah, it's so weird to think that it's just like, oh, this thing, you could release something that costs $700 US and could actually do that kind of thing, but you can't because it's different somehow. And it's just like, yeah, I think everybody out there gets what I'm kind of saying. So,
but anyway, my general point was that the differences between a theoretical PlayStation 6. Mm-hmm. And, of course, the whole thing with consoles these days is that because they are effectively purpose-built PCs as opposed to they're mostly using sort of off-the-shelf technology. Mm-hmm. And so, we know what's available. It's like basically everybody knew what the specs of a Switch 2 would be before it came out because it was like they only have like 3 chips they could choose from.
Yeah.
And so like we know like what would be available hypothetically in a PS6 right now. And yeah, it doesn't show that compelling an argument for why that needs to happen. And of course, it would also be like a $2,000 computer or console.
I mean, they just keep getting way more expensive. So,
but don't worry, if you wait for a bit, it'll come down in price.
I mean, that is how I got a PS4.
But it is an interesting aspect that like, if you aren't, especially like 4K is sort of the thing, right? Mm-hmm. Like if you aren't fully invested in the 4K ecosystem, if you don't have a 4K monitor or a 4K TV and all that kind of stuff, then like a lot of the benefits of the sort of next gen technology or current gen high level technology doesn't actually affect you very much.
Because you're really used to a thing like, okay, loading screens as a thing, right? They were very long, so like you got some really creative loading screen things happening, like mini games and hints and tips, or just ways to try to cover them. Yeah. And as we've gotten further in tech, there are games on systems that I think the PS5 specifically was like all about trying to get rid of the loading screen.
Right, and they talked about they've got special super fast SSDs.
If you're constantly just not playing on something that does that, you don't know. It's the moment you start swapping over to the other thing and then you try to go back that's really difficult, where you really notice things. And I think that's kind of the same for a lot of like 1080 4K, 30 frame, 60 frame. Like there are some people where it just legitimately does not bother them at all. There are people who can just tell their eyes are very special or whatever, but they can just see it and it bugs them. And I'm like, yeah, if you can see it,
yep,
I get it. I find I'm generally in a middle ground where I'm like, if I've been playing the new thing, I'm fucked.
Yeah.
But if I can get back to being used to the older thing, I'm fine.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty happy with, like, I've got a 1080 TV and, I haven't had any problems with it in terms of...
I play so much off of computer screens that are just 1080 now.
Mm. And I mean, my monitor is a little bit bigger than that, but yeah, it's like fine. And yeah.
I would absolutely love it if we just agreed on 1080 60. and we called it there.
Never gets better.
And that's fine. As long as it's what do they call it? Like not capped, but constant.
Yeah.
Because that's where your frame rate sucks when it drops.
Yeah, the frame rate dips, are the worst. That's why like often you'll see when they do, especially on PC because it's more variable, but the more interesting numbers than like what frame rates you're getting are like your like they'll call it like 5% low and stuff.
Locked. Like, I think they use the word locked when they're talking
about
locked
60.
Right?
Yeah. Sometimes they say that. Yeah.
It's been a while since I've been on message boards and watched people
1%
argue about numbers.
But anyway, let's go on to the actual first story.
Yeah, Star Citizen Squadron 42.
Yeah.
Because Squadron 42 is a thing within Star Citizen.
Well, it's not within, but it's a supplementary game.
Oh, okay.
That would theoretically take place in the Star Citizen universe.
It's weird how they have so much lore in franchise.
Yeah.
For a thing that is not real, but is real.
So, yeah. Star Citizen is in early alpha. There are alpha builds out there that you can play if you are a member of the if you've got the keys or whatever if you paid some money. Apparently they don't work great. You have to have speaking of computer power, you have to have a pretty burly computer to even run them.
Well,
to run
space is infinite.
Yeah, and it's not terribly, optimization hasn't happened yet. And it's a little bit, and they're a little bit glitchy.
It's been 14 years and there's been no optimization.
No, they're working on more important things. So, I mean, so obviously the impetus for the story and why you may have seen some other stuff about Star Citizen around lately is because they just hit $1 billion in funding, all crowdfunded. As far as I know, maybe there was some big corporate stuff in there, but I think it's all crowdfunded.
I mean, I can't imagine they have an actual publisher behind them, because publishers generally want
to publish something.
Things to have happen. You know, I don't know. I mean, I only ever know about Star Citizen when it pops up for ChillPoint.
Yeah.
And I have no real interest in it. I suppose if people are having fun with their time, cool.
So there are two things that I kind of wanted to talk about that are sort of related, peripheral to this. But so one of the things that I found kind of fascinating about this article, they're on the occasion of the 1 billion thing, there was an interview with the Sandy Roberts and whatever his name is.
Oh, the two people we showed
Chris
off
Roberts.
in the logo, or the
Chris and Sandy Roberts
graphic.
And there's an interview with them, and one of the things Chris Roberts was talking about was Bar Citizen, which is the name of what they call sort of like fan meetups.
Okay.
And fan groups and stuff, which apparently these things are like a fan organized thing where they have meetups and things. And
right.
If you've seen, we've done stories about like Star Citizen Con.
Wait, does Star Citizen not have like a community manager? They
I'm
seem like
sure,
the kind of game that should.
They have community managers, but the community, but they don't like officially, like they do like a Star Citizen convention. There's Star Citizen Con, but they don't organize these little like local meetups.
Just local meetups. All right.
But he's saying that like there's like 300, over 300 of these like meetups worldwide a year.
Well, I mean, to get that much money,
they happen all the time.
Public funding, you probably have to have a number of people who are fans.
And I was thinking about it, like, in some ways there's a certain like almost kind of, there's a sort of a wholesome aspect to this, of these like fan meetups, right? This idea, like, these people are meeting up. Again, I haven't played the current version of Star Citizen, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say there's probably like not that much to meet up about in Star Citizen yet. Like, there isn't, from what I understand, there's not a ton of like story stuff.
No, but like I used to go to fan meetups when I was younger, and it wasn't necessarily to talk about the thing that, like, I mean, you talk about the thing you're meeting up about generally, but that's kind of like your basis for interaction. Your meetups are more about just like kind of making friends who have same interests as you.
And this is what I'm thinking. Like, there's a certain wholesomeness about this idea that like people like just want to hang out and meet each other. Like it, and our like Star Citizen in this context, Star Citizen is just kind of an excuse.
Yeah.
Like if the game was completely taken away, these people could still meet up and hang out and have fun together.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then probably it wouldn't really change anything because they aren't playing the game now. And so there's sort of a I kind of appreciate that. Like it's sort of this idea that people can that the people's desire to meet, you know, to hang out with each other and have fun with each other and have this sort of community is so strong that it can form around this sort of empty center.
And you generally don't need much.
Yeah. I kind of like that aspect of it. That I can imagine that if for some reason, if for whatever reason tomorrow they were like, turns out we can't do it. We're shutting down the company, shutting down development. We're not going to release the game. That's it. Mm-hmm. These people would still be friends, maybe. You know, the relationships
once you established those things, like most of them would probably just move on to something else that they all have kind of an interest in, or like, again, it doesn't take much.
Yeah.
So yeah, once that stuff's established.
So I don't know. I kind of like that aspect that it's like that people can, even if the reason that they're actually meeting up is kind of stupid, it doesn't matter because they're still meeting up and, you know, enjoying each other's company. The other thing I actually wanted to talk about and wanted to address quickly is, you know, you were actually mentioning that it's like, you know, the last time you heard about Star Citizen was the last time we talked about it on ChillPoint, which I think was in relation to Star Citizen Con, and there was a screenshot of it actually in the shoulder graphic. They talked about that this was in 2003. They were talking about 2026 would be that they were doing the final polish on Squadron 42.
2003 or 2023?
Sorry, 2023.
Okay,
I always
cool.
do that. 2023. And they were going to do the final polish on Squadron 42 and release it in 2026. Mm-hmm. As Graham said in the story, who knows if that's going to happen? If it is going to be in 2026, they should probably get their marketing stuff in gear at some point soon.
Well, I mean, there's we're almost at June.
Yeah.
When the big marketing hype cycle for a lot of stuff happens. So.
But and somebody in the comments on the YouTube channel was like, was complaining. It's like, how come you always talk about Star Citizen when it's like a bad thing? Or why are you guys always dumping on Star Citizen? And lots of people responded, including, I don't know whether it was you or somebody, but you know, the Loading Ready LRVG account.
I usually try to sign mine, so it was probably Graham.
Responded and was like, you know, we talked about lots of other things. We haven't talked about Star Citizen for like 3 years. So it's not like we're always talking about Star Citizen.
I mean, we're not always talking about Star Citizen. But I do agree that when we do, we're probably making fun of it. That's true. I mean, given the kind of show it is. I think probably the other reason, though, has more to do with the fact that none of us really play it.
Yeah.
So the stuff that we always see about it is when the bad things pop up. We don't see a lot of the other stuff. And so you can kind of tell in ChillPoint when stories come out about like who's played what, because things get like a little bit more detailed or a little bit more, necessarily that we don't make fun of them for it, but also that you can just tell that there's like, there's a bit more knowledge base on that thing than something else.
You know, we did a lot more Overwatch stories when
when
people
everyone was really into playing Overwatch. Yeah,
yeah.
There was tons of Overwatch stories.
PUBG stories, etc.
Destiny as well, especially when Destiny 1, right? When everyone was really playing it.
Anyway,
at least here.
This person talking about, how come, or why you always dump me on Star Citizen. It made me think about there's a video I saw actually just recently that had a really interesting point. He just had a little disclaimer at the beginning of it. It was just a board game review video.
Okay.
And it was not positive. He was reviewing a board game and he said was not good. And he did this little disclaimer that I really liked before he sort of got into it. And he was like, okay, I am about to say some, not nice things about this board game. There's a lot of problems. There's a lot of things that I, have problems with. Saying, the problem, but I want you to understand that, but I think that it's useful to have, negative reviews, not only to tell you about the game, but also to illustrate why the game is bad and to give you some, and maybe will help you look for games that you would enjoy or, give feedback to the developers, that kind of stuff. And so I think it's important to do this kind of a video, but he's saying, but the way the algorithm works is he's saying that because you watch this video, this negative video, it's now going to start recommending to you
other negative videos,
other of our videos that are like negative videos. And he's saying, which are the vast minority of our, like most of our videos are about the board games that we love.
So if you're only watching through kind of the algorithm stream
and
of
he's
things,
saying
it's going to look like we hate everything.
Yeah, and then we get comments about why are you dumping why are you always just dumping on games? When most of the videos we put out are about games we really like. And then he's saying, and also, you're going to get you might start getting negative videos if you watch a bunch. You're going to get negative videos from other people, and that's going to start influencing your algorithm as well. And so you got to be a little bit careful. And he's saying and for instance, so I don't know how but it's entirely possible that this person watched this video and then was recommended like 2 or 3 other ChillPoint videos where we talked about Star Citizen. And then their impression, if they haven't been watching all our stuff, is that we always are talking about Star Citizen and how much it sucks.
I mean, possibly. I think sometimes people get into arguments with an invisible person.
Sort of an imagined...
kind of an imagined person. And part of that is like, if you're engaging online a lot and you see a lot of people being angry at a thing, even if you see positive, we all know that like we have a tendency to get caught up on the negative over positive things, right? So you really have to fight that weird human instinct there. But sometimes if you've got that going on and then you go into another video or you're just talking to a friend or something and that person says, oh, hey, what about blank? And you the response that you want to have is, how dare you? Why are we talking about that? Blah, blah, blah. And it's like, they haven't said anything, but that's all inside your head. So you start having an argument with essentially an invisible person. Yeah,
it's sort of the internet equivalent to like the shower argument or whatever. Right?
Yeah.
If you said this to me, I would say all these things.
Yeah, and it's very easy to get stuck on that. I also think it's very easy to basically see anything where it's not glowingly positive, like almost to a comedic degree of being really exuberant about something. People will take negative, even though neutral is not negative. We do treat neutral as if negative, though.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, I thought this was an interesting thing obviously, we know, about how algorithmic stuff, but just the idea that it's like not just, you watch this creator and you're going to see more of that creator stuff, but it also will go down into, they made a video about this, they made a positive video, they made a negative video, they made a whatever. And those kind of videos are going to be recommended to you, and that's going to further, and you have to be a little bit aware of that.
Yeah. Although
And so
honestly,
if you're watching, if you're watching YouTube videos and you seem to be only getting, one perspective on a particular topic or whatever, the reasoning might not be that's the only perspective. It might be
it's
that
possible.
you're being
I
funneled
would
into
definitely
the wrong area.
I would definitely agree. We don't talk about Star Citizen that often.
Yeah.
Compared to like the overall. I would say though, probably anytime we talk about Star Citizen, I wouldn't say we've ever given it a glowing review. But again, I still think that's because nobody plays it.
Also, I mean, we've often talked about that in general. You don't want to be on an episode of ChillPoint. Like, most people don't get it. Like, we don't do it. We sometimes try to do some positive stuff, but, that's the news, right? Usually the things that are important to talk about or that we want to talk about will be something negative that happened.
Likely. Especially these days.
Yeah. And so
Speaking of-
it's Star Citizen isn't by itself in that way.
No, but I think we can leave Star Citizen alone now. We could probably move on to the sadness of I don't remember what comes next.
Detective Snoopy?
Detective Snoopy. Such a sad, awful thing. I don't know. I couldn't remember what the next story was. Hey, Beach, you're just in time. We're about to talk about the tragedy that is Detective Snoopy.
Oh, lovely. Detective Snoopy.
Yeah.
I didn't think about it that way, but that is what it is, isn't it? Yeah.
Poor Detective Snoopy.
Oh, well.
So yeah, this is one of those stories that we don't necessarily, we don't, know all the information, and if it continues, maybe stuff will come out in the lawsuit. But this idea that it's always weird. This idea that like you license the intellectual property and the characters and the setting,
Yeah.
but not the music.
Yeah.
And that because like when I first saw the story, I was like, oh, they just like ripped off a bunch of stuff and now they're getting sued.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh no, they actually did license it. They just didn't license the music.
Yeah.
And then they just made a bunch of sound-alike stuff. And what's kind of, obviously the idea of one piece of music copying another piece of music is a very common argument that gets thrown around a lot. And, Nelson wrote the story and he was talking, mentioned like the Haley Williams and Olivia Rodrigo. And different. There's all sorts of different versions of that.
Yes.
Some with more merit than others, and it's a notoriously difficult thing to
Adjudicate
and to sort of to actually successful. There have been successful lawsuits and things, but usually it's when you're like sampling.
Yep.
When you are doing.
Yeah.
When you are.
Or you're lifting a melodic line that is coming directly out of somebody else's song, and it's like, oh, that sounds an awful lot like Yesterday by the Beatles. And you're like, yeah, actually it is.
A sound-alike I would expect to be something in, to be used in a place where it's like we're not licensing that thing, but we're making a joke about that thing, and so we're adding in a sound-alike piece of music. Yeah. Not we've licensed the characters and then not the music.
Yeah. Yeah, and to me, like I think like whatever random game having Peanuts like music playing in the background wouldn't have raised an eyebrow.
Yeah.
But because it's a Snoopy game, by putting Peanuts music in it, that's sort of you're kind of rubbing their nose in it.
So there was an example
asking for trouble.
There's an example that they used in the that you even put up as an image that showed like here's the document arguing the two passages that the that kind of it's just a snippet, right? And if I just went da, 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 you probably wouldn't think that I'm doing the da, 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 that part. And they have a tone in the game that they called success, as far as I could tell from looking at the picture, which is da 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 like that kind of thing. Da 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 da, like that kind of thing, right? It's not quite da, 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 and it's just like it's off because of the rhythmic meter, like, or the rhythm of it, but it's the same notes, and so then you have to argue the thing is like, well, by changing the rhythm of it, were you trying to intentionally disguise that you basically just lifted this musical idea from somebody else, but you wanted it to still evoke the same reaction for people to be like, oh, that's cool. They used the da, 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 da from Linus and Lucy, but they did a thing to make it faster to do whatever. And it's like this is it. I can see why there would be arguments about it, and the idea of a sound-alike is not supposed to be the kind of thing that would completely stymie you from being able to make something in the first place. To like be able to make another theme song or maybe make other music or whatever, because it's like, well, there's only so many notes, there's only so many passages that work, and there's only so many like there's common chords and there's common chord progressions and all that kind of stuff, that if you lay that all out on the table, there's so many common chord progressions that you can't say, well, okay, this song is actually ripping off this other song. Artists rip themselves off all the time by using melodic passages that they've used in other songs. Like, I'm going to bring this back for this other thing. Yoko Kanno's done it several times. I've noticed her do it several times. Bare Naked Ladies have several songs that are just basically GDC for chord progression, right? And it's like, and there's all sorts of other artists out there who do the same thing where they're like, I'm going to use that same progression. The Axis of Awesome shows off how many kind of sound, right?
The famous, or the ice cream chords or whatever,
So
right?
I'm looking at the publisher for this game.
Oh yeah,
Just Game Mill Entertainment.
Which already is
that name is suspect.
The devs like Cradle Games or something. Can you you want to hear some other franchises that they've published games for?
Love to hear.
Okay, yeah.
Hot Wheels, Nicktoons,
Okay.
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. We all remember that classic of a show. Goosebumps.
Interesting.
Looney Tunes. Ooh, The Karate Kid Street Rumble.
Ooh.
Okay, so their
Did
thing
they use the famous Karate Kid Street Rumble theme songs?
So I'm guessing the what their stock in trade is we look for licensable properties from movies and TV and from cartoons and that kind of stuff too, from
Specifically like kids cartoons.
I'll remember
a lot of times.
Rise of Kong.
Rise of Kong. Maybe not a kid cartoon.
Oh, that was that famously terrible one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I think we gave them a lot of shit in a previous thing about that too.
Again, they're the publisher.
Yeah.
But
but probably what's happening is the publisher is getting access to rights and stuff. This could be working in if they're this big on we do these kind of games, then it makes sense to me that they might be out there farming for rights and then finding studios to actually develop games underneath it. And when you're out there looking for the rights to stuff to turn into a game, a lot of times, I will make an assumption that the amount of money that you're going to be generating is basically to pay off the license fee in the first place. And therefore, there's very little, there's less that's going to be left for development of a game or development of other things like that. And I could totally see the idea of like, you know what, we can get by with sound-alike music just fine in this case. And I brought up the thing during the after show where I said you could go to a session musician or their own series of them and be like, you guys like Vince Guaraldi, you like Linus and Lucy, you like Peanuts and whatever. Can you guys do some stuff that evokes that same attitude, but is not all the stuff that's famous? And they'd probably be like, yeah, you let us noodle for a bit and we'll probably come up with some good stuff here, and then pay us for the music and do whatever. Or whoever your music director is could be indulging in that as well. But yeah, I don't know when it comes to this how big a deal like how blatant the ripping off was. It sounds like they have since finished this lawsuit. Is that what has transpired here, or that the lawsuit is ongoing?
The lawsuit, they filed the lawsuit. It hasn't gone to court.
So that's why we have kind of a lack of information.
So people have been able to see what's been alleged here, and it's like, okay, well, depending on how blatant it is, it could just be that, well, you can use this melodic passage, and yes, it does sound like this part from here, but of course it's going to do that. But we weren't trying to completely rip off that music, except it's like, but it's related to the property in question. That's why you're doing that. It would be like doing a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game that doesn't have the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles theme song, but it has something that sounds very similar, has little bumps or like little bumps in tone or whatever.
Yeah, I don't music especially is a thing I find really hard with the whole copyright thing.
Yeah.
I know it's at least like you can't copyright a note.
Yeah.
It has to be a specific combination or length or something at minimum.
Yeah.
Before you can say.
But yeah,
no.
like how many notes is it before it becomes unique?
But if you have an emo band and they start by hitting like high G on a piano at the beginning of their song for like as a whole note, everyone's going to assume they're ripping off the Black Parade. So
that was one note.
Yeah, but everybody knows that's what that note is.
Anyway,
I think it's interesting because I do want to see what comes of it, because there's a long-standing tradition of making stuff that is a sound-alike. But I mean, I found out recently, for example, that the Naked Gun theme it's an original, but it's not technically an original. It's actually a style parody of a song that Count Basie had done for another cop show, I think called M Troop or M Squad or something like that. And when you hear the original M Squad theme, it is M Squad. When you hear the original M Squad theme, you're like, oh shit, that's the Naked Gun. Like, immediately that's what that came from. And then the one that they did that was a take on it, it's like, oh yeah, that was meant to evoke the same attitude and the same everything else, but it still swung and like a lot of that kind of stuff. And it's like, this is so weird to hear this from like years before.
And I mean, like, they were so broke when they did
Police Squad.
When they did like Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Oh yeah.
The theme for Monty Python and the Holy Grail, like the is like from the BBC archives.
It's
like they couldn't because they couldn't afford an orchestra
right
to do it.
So they just went looking for something that works.
Apparently, all the music that they actually recorded live, like recorded new for the show, for the thing, because it was basically just like a quartet, like they couldn't afford a whole orchestra, became like Robin's Minstrels music. But the like grand stuff they just couldn't do. They didn't have enough people to play.
That's very funny.
So they would just use the stuff that was available.
There can be a lot of evocative stuff in the archives, because a lot of those archives can get very big too. Like Mitchell and Webb used a piece of stock music from, I think from the BBC archives or from whatever archives, from a television archive though, for Number Wang. And that was the thing when Ian found that out. He was like, "Oh shit!" and got a copy of that track from that archive because he was like, "I'm gonna, now we have this. We can reproduce it in places."
All right. Well, something that may or may not be Number Wang. Destiny 2.
Oh, definitely not Number Wang.
Certainly not for... It certainly won't be anyway. So yeah, this is the couple
Sad
days...
news for some of you and no news for some of you.
Yeah. Earlier this week, Bungie announced that that the next update, which is coming on June 9th, will be the final update for Destiny 2. The actual final shape.
Yeah.
No, they already did the final shape.
The finalist shape.
The final shape.
It was like a hexagon or something.
It really feels like this is epilogue, right? And that's kind of...
But they didn't tell anybody it was an epilogue.
No, but it's funny because when I was talking with Graham, and he said, it would have been great if this had just come to a conclusion as we said, at a climactic point, that it's like the game coalesces into a thing, there's a grand battle, there's a whatever, and then there's very little denouement and you're done. Because that's also kind of how a lot of other like video games go, right? You've beat the final boss, there's very little epilogue, there's very little denouement, and it's usually told to you in story form as opposed to it's a playable epilogue. You usually don't have like that. We've seen more games have after game content these days, where it's like you've done the whole thing, you've done what is supposed to be the whole thing, and there's lots of like other things you can do after the fact. But we relate to that differently, and I think I think it would be interesting if they had said the final shape is going to be the last of Destiny 2. Like, this is what the whole idea of it is. And then what we'll be doing after this is what we're calling after-game content. We're calling it an epilogue. We're going to be spreading more lore. We're going to be doing more things about the world that you live in. The battle goes on, Guardian, but not in the same, it has reached a conclusion of sorts.
And, maybe that's how they'll...
pitch this?
That's how they'll pitch it on June 9th. They haven't. That's not how they've been pitching it so far, but maybe they'll be... although they have, it will be continuing to be that, I can appreciate that it will still be able, it's not like they're taking the servers offline on June 9th or anything.
No.
In fact,
they're just not updating it anymore, isn't that?
Yeah. Content updates. So there'll probably be bug fixes. It
goes into maintenance mode, I guess. Yeah.
And Destiny, Destiny 1 is still playable right now.
Yeah. So if you were waiting to have the entire game be released, it's all there now.
Well, except no, it isn't.
It's
that's not the way
they
Destiny
take
works.
stuff.
Yeah, they took stuff
They
offline.
They cycle through stuff.
Yeah, like I remember when people were really into Sparrow racing.
Oh
with the bikes, and I think they took those away. I think maybe they're bringing them back. I can't remember exactly, but
the irony, is that apparently one of the things that they're doing for like the final thing that they talked about is like bringing back Sparrow Racing, bringing back like a bunch of the like really loved things that people have been asking them to bring back for a long time. People are like, maybe if you'd done this earlier, you wouldn't be canceling it. But anyway, it's certainly end of an era, and as the developer of the lead developer of Warframe,
right,
which is one of those games that was sort of put forward as a Destiny killer, even though it actually came out before Destiny 2, or I don't quite know what the timeline is, but anyway,
right.
And Warframe actually has been doing very well in their sort of niche. They're sort of in a different. But there's a lot of crossover in gameplay, and he was like, without Destiny, there would be no Warframe.
Yeah.
Like, okay. A lot of the ideas and stuff in Warframe, he says were inspired by Destiny and things. And Warframe obviously is continuing, and from what I understand, is very successful and a fun game that people like. But they've figured out how to make it work in the sense that it's not. Warframe doesn't need $200 million, a year or whatever to make it work.
Sure.
Like it's a smaller company, and it's a less sort of ambitious thing, even though it is ambitious. It is. They're not competing sort of in that realm where so they can be a success without being the biggest game of all time. Yeah, as everybody has to do.
I guess if people are trying to constantly make your killer your game, you must know that your game has to be very highly thought of.
It's true,
but at the same time, I feel like if you're trying to make a game with the explicit thing to take over another game, that's maybe not the best mindset.
Yeah. I mean, usually the epithet or the designation of Destiny killer or whatever, or WoW killer or whatever, isn't the developer that says that. It's
the media.
It's media or fans or whatever.
Yeah, the companies usually rarely will start, and not all, some will, but it's like companies will rarely start by saying, well, this is a blank killer,
Yeah.
They'll say things like, this is meant to occupy a similar space to this other game in terms of mechanic or in terms of these kind of things. And then the gaming press is like, I have to publish a headline. Oh, I know, Destiny killer. Perfect.
Really? Are you sure? But I would actually put it on maybe people who are angry at the certain thing existing and they want it to go away, so they're excited to see the app that will take them down.
That can also be journalists.
And assassination is a fun hobby. It's true, but it's
Yes.
generally easier if you do it yourself.
Oh yeah, I mean, but I also want to say that for all the good work that an awful lot of journalists in the video game sphere do, there are journalists who in the video game sphere who are definitely very biased about shit, and so when we do stories, we have a tendency to stroke my own bias.
It's true.
When I do it, I
I'm
tend
sorry.
to feel a certain way about stuff.
Point to me anything that doesn't have a bias to it.
Oh yeah, it's true. It's hard,
Don't go down that hole. I will beat you to a pulp.
But of course, and I mean, there's all sorts of backseat quarterbacking or whatever about, why and what happened, and who knows, what could have been, and the only thing that I think everybody can agree on, is the creative team behind Destiny was doing some amazing work.
Yeah, they had more successes than failures,
and amazing, character designs, amazing art, some really great story beats and things. But why ultimately it is, it's, you can't even call it. It's like, well, ultimately it was a failure. You can't say that.
No,
it was going for 10 years.
Yeah, literally by using the word ultimately, it's like ultimately it's over.
Yeah,
right. Like that's what that word
I think that
denotes.
And that might be like, it's like sad that it can't go on forever, but also, to call it that, it's like, oh, it sucks that it's like to call it anything other than a success that made the company millions and millions of dollars. They were bought by Sony for $3.6 billion.
Yeah,
which
that's a way to define success. Right?
Yeah,
a player count is a way to define success. Critical acclaim is a way to define success. Overall user satisfaction with a thing is a way to define success.
The longer you've been with something, the sadder it is when it goes away.
Yes. Yeah, that's why.
And it's okay to feel that.
It's why people cry when their pets die.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, we could go with that example. Yeah.
I didn't want to say when their kids die, but it was like.
I was going to go with maybe a breakup.
Yeah.
Something that didn't involve death.
Yeah.
Necessarily, but sure.
There's always that thing too of like, since you brought up breakups and I didn't, there's always that thing of like, you date someone for a certain amount of time, and the rule of thumb is generally based on how long you dated them for, you're going to need about twice that much time to really kind of build scar tissue around what happened there.
Yeah, I've heard that, and I disagree with that.
Yeah, because for like 10 years.
As someone who had 2 girlfriends,
yeah, okay.
I can kind of say for a certain amount of time, I can kind of say that, it feels about right.
I'm not saying that's not the way it is for some people. I just don't think that, I feel like that as an average is just completely wrong. Because again, that would be part of a grief state, and everyone goes through grief in completely different ways.
That's true.
And so to be like, oh yes, I dated this person for a month, so it's going to take me 2 months to get over them.
I didn't say get over it. I said grow scar tissue over it. Right? You can get over.
Well,
you can get over
okay.
like you can get over like the death of a partner or whatever.
However you want to define it.
You can get over a death of a partner maybe in about like a year or two, to the point where you're like, okay, I'm healing and I'm feeling like I'm moving through whatever. But it's like, there will always be a lingering attachment, and it's like it might take you an extremely long time if you've been with somebody for like, you built your whole life around a person for like 10 or 15 years, and it's like, right, you might have to feel that for 20, 30 years almost to kind of get to a point where it's like, I can be without that. And and that's what I'm alleging here, is that people who've had Destiny as their partner for as long as it's been out, Graham's gonna be a fucking wreck for the next 20 years.
No, he's not, because he was already distancing himself.
It's true, yeah. He was already saying,
He's already a year into distancing himself. Yeah. At most, he's just kind of like, he's probably sad.
He's out there dating new games already.
Like,
he's like, I know what's going to happen here.
He's too hot and heavy with Marathon right now.
I think he's actually in the building, and I really am just doing this to kind of...
No, he's gone. Okay. We sent him off the island.
I was hoping to get a response if he was actually in the building right now.
We sent him off the island like everyone else.
Yeah, he's into the new hotness.
Sometimes that's how you get over things. You just date new ones.
Yeah.
I have to say, as a fan of a lot of Bungie's output before Destiny, when they were making the kinds of games that I like.
Yeah. Oni.
Yeah. I played that on I played that on stream for a bit, and it was super great. One of my favorite games that 100% could be remade and be awesome. Or lots of other. I mean, there's lots of other great Bungie games.
Yeah.
It would be neat if they went into there. Obviously, like it's not. I mean, there it's gone. It's amazing how fast we went from, Destiny 2 is going to have its last update.
Yeah.
To Destiny 2 is going to be gone.
Yes.
To Bungie is gone. Yeah. I feel like people are like, well, Bungie's dead, and it's like, I mean, it's not like super positive for them, but it also like they're still
also. I think much like in the way that as a human ages, you tend to revisit the things that you've become good at over time, right? Like when you're young, you trying out all sorts of new things, right? You're like, I want to do this, I want to do that. You start trying a bunch of stuff out. You find a new hobby, you abandon a hobby. Maybe you take up a sport, or maybe you decide that's not for me. But you try a few things out because you're kind of like trying to experience the world. And as you get to a certain age, then it's like, okay, I've found the things I'm interested in. I'm going to concentrate on doing that for a bit. And then at a certain point, as we age, it's like some of those old interests start to reassert themselves, right? It's like the thing that I thought about before, the thing that I worked on before, comes back and pokes me in the eye. I.e. Marathon is one of these things, I think, where they're like, we made Marathon, we thought it was great, we make Marathon 2, Marathon Infinity, and it's like we made this thing, and then we put that away because we were done making it, because it's like time to try another thing, right? So then you make Halo, and then you make the other things you make, and like thinking about how long those stretches were for Bungie, where it's like we made Marathon and like X whatever thing, and then we said, okay, we're done with that, so now we're gonna make Halo, and okay, well, we're done with that, okay, now we're gonna make Destiny, and it's like for them to come back and say, well, we want to resurrect Marathon because we love the idea of Marathon, we love the world and whatever, but we want to build a different game around it. Makes sense, because you're like, there's this thing that even in the company, even if most of the people aren't the same people who are there anymore, have a nostalgia for the thing in the first place, which is why it's like Myth could show up out of nowhere and be like, that'll be a thing after they make Marathon for about 4 or 5 years and decide, okay, well, I think we're done with Marathon now, or it's time to spool something else up. Because I could see BioWare doing that, right? I can see a lot of other companies that kind of like build a thing of IP where like, we don't know what to make, so we're just going to try a whole bunch of stuff, and then they're like, we understand, like Mass Effect will come back at some point, or Dragon Age will come back at some point. Like those things happen, right?
My curse is that it always happens, and I'm sure this is something that only happens to me personally. Is that often like a lot of the games that I really like will be made by companies that make like a whole bunch of really cool games,
right? And
then find one game that is like vastly more successful than every other thing they've done.
Yeah.
And then they're like, well, let's just do that forever. Or their publisher says, now that's all you get to do.
Yes.
Right.
And by and large, it's not the game that I wanted.
Right.
Right. So there's a bunch of games that I like, wow, that's really great. I'm going to pay attention to what comes from this developer from now on, because they're going to be doing awesome things. And then they completely stop doing the game that I wanted and start doing a completely different game that I don't like. And I'm like, oh.
Right. So your personal curse is that
it doesn't happen to anybody else.
Our companies, chat, you can't claim this happens to you. This is Paul only. They make a bunch of games you really love, but they will never make more of those games because they're obsessed with a game you don't care about.
Yeah.
All right.
I think the worst is...
How do you feel about Beyond Good and Evil? Because I don't think we're getting the sequel.
I mean, Beyond Good and Evil...
The sequel is already pretty monkey paw as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Beyond Good and Evil isn't really that problem. Beyond Good and Evil is just like, nobody... I don't know. Beyond Good and Evil, they say that they're even working on it.
I don't believe
It's a whole different thing.
Yeah.
But the best example of that is Toys for Bob, which is...
What did they make?
Spyro.
They are the company originally that made Star Control. And Star Control 2. Which, if Lord Hosk is in chat, it's one of my favorite games of all time. And then they made the Spyro games, which
Right.
were also really great.
Yeah.
And then they made Skylanders. And Skylanders, for a while anyway, was the license to print money.
Yes.
And they were
Yeah.
just like, that's all we're doing from now on.
When
Yeah,
went
we
for
learned how
that
to make
whole-
money, yeah.
We went for that whole everyone's got to make toys to life is what they call
That was
that.
Yeah.
quite the thing.
But
I mean, all the things that I'm saying, it's like I literally am a Nintendo fan. I see that thing of, we make a thing, we make a franchise, we make an IP, and then we try our best to we'll pull those IPs back. We'll pull those IP. I mean, Smash Brothers is basically just an entire museum for IP.
Smash Brothers is one man's love for
It's-
all things.
Yeah, but it's just kind of amazing to be like Nintendo's focus of we're gonna keep making IP, and even though it's well, Mario exists, it's yeah, but Mario Strikers is it's not an innovation, it's a derivation. That's what it is. It's a derivation on the IP to begin with. It's we'll have a game for this, and we'll have Mario's Superstar Sluggers or whatever, and it's the exploration of what can you do with the thing. I'm just saying that Halo is going to get a baseball game. So yeah.
Oh, I really would have thought they'd have that already.
Yeah.
I mean, there's an RTS.
I feel like they could do a Halo batting cage.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Anyway, so good luck and Godspeed to all you Destiny players out there.
Yeah.
And I hear, I mean, so sort of the other aspect of this story, obviously, is the various sort of protests and things that people are doing, or attempts to make their voices heard, which, I can respect, but also I hope people understand that it is not probably going to make any difference.
Yeah.
But maybe it helps to, again, that community aspect is kind of nice sometimes.
I want it to be, it should Star Citizen itself, right? That community should be if we love each other this much and we love the things that go on with that, I'm then have meetups, get together, enjoy stuff in real life,
everyone was
form
gonna
friendships.
was going to make those sad funeral videos.
I mean, I'm
They
sure
will.
that will. So yeah, and again, at least for the moment, it is an always online, game fundamentally. But at least for the moment, nobody's taking away Destiny 2. You can still keep playing it. There's won't be new content.
Yeah.
But you can keep playing all the old stuff. So that aspect is still there.
I haven't been in a situation, I can't remember being in a situation based on the games that I play where the game itself has decided that it's we will not be doing anything new with this game.
You don't play live service style games.
Animal
so-
Crossing New Horizons is the only game that's even close to that, and that is just a game where I'm I have played sufficient and I've lost enough interest.
I don't consider that a live service game as much as people want it to become one.
Yeah. And it's odd to me because it's I can't give advice about how to deal with that kind of.
Oh, here's the fun thing. You don't have to.
It's true, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Not everything needs advice.
No,
From us.
no, it's true. It's true. It's hard to find my opinion.
What advice
Also,
would
don't
you
need that.
What advice would you give to somebody who's got a very, very old Tamagotchi?
Tamagotchi Paradise is not that old.
Flip it on eBay. I've got a really old one.
Oh,
It's
you
probably going to
mean-
go for some money.
You mean
No, not the actual thing. The actual device
Oh,
isn't old.
the
little guy inside is old.
You know what? Rip out the speaker and keep it rolling. If you don't have to listen to it cry all day.
there's options just to turn the sound off. You don't have to go
do
ripping
that
out
too.
speakers.
This is such an interesting idea of this is the Tamagotchi Paradise thing where if you force your Tamagotchi to stay alive to the point where the bite does the rollover to
You say
256.
force.
Well,
it's you managed to.
Well, it is a thing of once it reaches 30, the Happy Tamastar event wants to occur. They're you have your Tamagotchi has reached the end of its life. You should let it go to whatever. It's no, I want to keep it around. It's okay, well, I guess then I'll keep it around. And then you do that, and you do that, and you do that. The event doesn't try to fire again, and the fact that they know that at 512 and the fact that they know at 768, whether that's that hasn't been some sort of weird data mining that people have been doing, taking them apart to figure out what they do, if it's actually people who've been like, I'm keeping mine alive as long as I possibly can.
My understanding, based on a comment someone had, because it's been a long time since I never had this brand as a kid. It's like 1 day equals 1 year.
Okay.
I don't know if it's that fast, but like it's definitely not real time.
No.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, if it's 30 days to get you to 30, that's pretty doable. If it's if you have to do like 256, that's that's
better part of a year.
Just really, really staying on top of that.
Yeah.
I mean, part of the reason why this hasn't come up until now is because it's hard to get one. Like, from what I understand, once they have reached the elderly stage, which is what happens after they are 30 and can handle that.
Yeah.
There's stuff that you have to, like, they require more work to keep going.
Yeah, like, again, I never had this brand, so I don't really know offhand what its age thing was. The nano babies were like, I think 2 weeks for their first baby before it got taken away, and then 2 more weeks for the second baby, and then you got to see the first one again if you survived, which is about a month. They can die?
Sorry, I'm just reading notes in chat. So it's like, I just watched Grave of the Fireflies for the first time. I need this chat to pick me up, and it's like, well, let me tell you about Tamagotchi.
I feel like they're teasing.
I did like Socratic Method caught me completely off guard by saying, do what one does with your blorbos, pour milk all over them and throw them against the wall. And I was like, oh, that's such a very specific thing that I know about, and I don't know why I know about it, but it feels very Tumblr.
I'm on that part of Tumblr.
I don't know what that is either.
Very, very Tumblr.
I'm not sure I want to know. I'll ask Jordan later.
Yeah, I was going to say, I need Jordan to translate this for me.
But yeah, this is this whole thing of like, we discovered a thing that happens when we do this, and then isn't that interesting and weird? And yeah, it is interesting and weird. But it was interesting and weird enough to the point where I think I summarized the entire story in one sentence and then just went on a journey.
All right, so there's some fun facts we should go over about Logan's Run.
Yeah, Heather was the one who suggested that I turn this into a reference to Logan's Run, and I was very happy to do so.
Have you seen Logan's Run?
I've seen the movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ages ago. I had not read the book, which is why when they were talking in the after chat, where Graham was like, maybe in the book you turned 40 or whatever, and I was like, I don't think that's true. So I went and I looked at the book, and people did comment in the comments as well. It's 21.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's actually 21 in the book. Also, they have an amazing weapon. It's called the gun.
Yeah, the gun.
Yeah.
The gun.
I don't know that I want to read the book based on the art style of the cover, because it honestly freaks me out.
The book itself has no pictures. You can imagine whatever you like.
But if you look at the art style of the cover, the guy that's running has this massive hand, and I just don't want to live in that universe.
I think of what the book must look like internally. When I picture Logan's Run, I don't picture Logan's Run the movie. I picture parts of the Clonus Horror, which was a movie that was MST3K in season 8. But,
a similar aesthetic
and idea. Yeah. It's like you'll get to go to America.
I'm assuming the 30-year-old thing in the movie has to do with not wanting actors who are younger than 21.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Also, I gotta say, from a sci-fi concept perspective,
yeah,
I can the idea of you get to a certain age and then they get rid of you or whatever, and that makes society better. I could see arguments.
I do think it's fascinating though to think about Logan's Run if it was like you turn 21 and it's over, and I'm like, that's just the Disney Channel. And I kind of like the idea now all of a sudden. I like the idea of taking a bunch of like Disney actors and actresses, like the ones who come out of like those shows from the Disney Channel, and making Logan's Run using them. They've been acting for a long time. They should be reasonably good at their craft. Making a Logan's Run movie that feels very much like bright and sunshiny and kind of like the way that like futuristic, dystopian, and
then people just sort of start disappearing.
Which is also very Hunger Games, right? Which is like that idea of like the teenagers have to fight and kill each other. And I'm like, right. So if you pick the right people and they are like, pick the right looking people who feel very young and you have them do that, it would amp the horror of the thing up so much. Because Lord of the Flies does that too, right? The idea of these like 12-year-old kids kicking the shit out of each other because they decided, no, this is what's righteous, you know?
It's the 21. It's more like, you know, like you can kind of get the sort of dystopian sci-fi thing of like, oh, you know, once people have outlived their usefulness,
a lot of sci-fi
we're not going to
does
waste
this.
resources on them, so we're going to get rid of them.
I consider you an expert on this because of Fight the Future.
Yes,
Like, you've
exactly.
been through a lot of this.
Wait, does that mean you've read Logan's Run?
No, we didn't do that.
I'm surprised by that.
Well, it's not like a young adult dystopia. It's
Okay. That's
Except
fair.
that the book is technically would be a young adult.
I guess it
dystopia.
would, yeah.
That's interesting.
I mean, if they're all dying
But-
at 21.
but
fill me in.
but the idea, but like getting rid of people at 21, that's like before you're getting rid of people before they're productive.
Yeah, right?
Like it just feels kind of backwards.
I mean, at that point, though, that would end up changing the way your society ends up working. Like, people would have to be more productive before 21, right? Like,
Yeah.
People didn't used to live to be like 80 and 90, 100.
Right. But it just seems like it's, you know, human being, like our you know, your sort of maturity, most sort of active, strongest, smartest, whatever, maybe not smartest.
No,
but when most
Yeah.
active and like strongest time is like, you know, 20 to 25 or whatever, right?
Right.
Like it just seems kind of backwards. But then again, it is, you know, weird dystopia sci-fi, so whatever.
Yeah, but it is a common theme actually within a lot of sci-fi. I saw someone bring up Star Trek did it, The Age of 60, which was a very specific culture and episode
Exactly.
thing.
yeah.
And that makes sense.
But they were
people
okay
after
with that.
60 are useless.
And there's even like I think there's a different Star Trek episode where they find all those bodies inside of an asteroid, and then they find out that there's like a society that basically gets rid of people the moment that they have no use, basically if they hurt themselves or whatever.
Right.
I don't know what episode that is. Is it a Voyager thing?
I think it might be a Voyager one.
Okay. I mean, Star Trek Next Generation definitely explored, like in the first 3 seasons, a lot of ideas of like, what if a society was this one thing that was really weird about it? Like they did a lot of episodes that were like that.
How a lot of sci-fi just works, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the exploration of the future.
Yeah.
What if we
Hold
did
up a
this?
black
What
mirror
if-
to our own society.
What if we all could be happy if the child underground was being tortured?
Yeah. They never
That's
did
a popular one too.
They never really did an Omelas type thing for Star Trek. It seems like definitely a thing they could have ripped off. But
Anyway,
sure. Anyway.
let's move on to Bowie Knife 99,
Oh yeah.
the demon of Forza 6. What I love about this is this isn't a troll who's going in and messing with people's games. This is a guy who's
Wouldn't you be?
they have trained the drivatar. So this is the an AI representation of them driving.
Yeah.
Which, by the way,
We mean enemy AI.
yeah, and I remember doing a story about this like many years ago about the drive. I don't know if Forza was the first ones who came up with it, but it's a neat idea. Like it's actually like a super cool idea. Like it's not like racing against a ghost.
No.
It actually it is actually driving the course. It's driving the course again for real.
Yeah.
But it is
As if driving for the first time.
but it is sort of the AI or the system that is running the car has been trained on the movements of another of
Yeah.
so like it drives it how you would drive it.
I liken it to how in Smash Brothers with the whole amiibo thing where they were like, if you play as Mario, for example, and you boop in your Mario amiibo and you play a lot as Mario and you keep booping that up, Mario like increases in like level and whatnot that over time. But that Mario also learns the frequency and the the method and how you kind of like it learns your behaviors to kind of integrate. It's
I don't
supposed
remember
to
it learning so much as it just leveling up is making it harder.
It was my understanding is that it got better and better at an understanding about how you like to do things.
I just don't feel like they would have gone that complicated.
I don't know if but the thing is, I don't even know if it's that complicated a thing, because if it's just frequency analysis of like this person likes to do nothing but smashes, or this person likes to like hold on smashes, or they like to do it in terms of these things.
I would assume making a thing learn somebody else's moves versus it just does a certain play style at specific levels would be harder.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that would be cool. I've never heard of Smash doing that.
Yeah.
If that's what they're doing, that's cool. But
Ultimate, I think, did do that because that was tied in with the whole amiibo thing.
They did do the amiibo thing.
Yeah.
I just don't know that it learned your moves so much as it leveled up.
That was part of I swear that was part of the marketing that I saw for it, to be like, this thing, it actually learns how you fight, and then you can take it to your friend's house and they can learn how to play against you.
Well, I'm not really sure about the marketing back in 2017.
That's fair. Yeah.
Anyway, the Drivatar thing apparently was real.
Yeah.
In the sense that the idea is that you train an AI driver to drive like you, and then that driver can then go off onto the internet, and when you play online, like when you play, it can load in
other Drivatars.
AI players pulled at random. Presumably, there's some sort of matchmaking system that pulls in people who are approximately your level, and it'll have their little name above it.
Good, so then you can know. Yeah.
But it is basically you versus the computer.
And for whatever reason, apparently the Bowie 99 Drivatar has been trained to be a menace.
Yeah.
Not only apparently are they like actually a very, very good driver, but they are just incredibly reckless. You could see it a little bit in the video we played at the end. But there's that was part of like a compilation of Bowie 99 stuff, and there's a lot more to it too. We're just coming in just from nowhere. We'll just like come from like off the, like cutting across the track and just landing on top of somebody.
Yeah.
Like not sideswiping, actually just like landing.
I'm trying to pancake your car.
They're like physically there as well, so they're gonna hit you.
Yeah. It's not like a ghost
it's
thing.
Not like the ghost data.
They are literally one of the cars doing a thing, or just like pulling a handbrake turn in the middle of the road to like block you off
for no reason. Right?
Yeah.
Like, why do that?
Just the most obnoxious player.
It's the kind of and it's the kind of thing though. When I think about it, I'm like, that. It almost makes me. Almost feels like a confirmation of what you could, that these are trainable, these are trainable avatars, right? That the Drivatar is something that is trained by somebody, because the what everyone is saying is that Bowie Knife 99 is a very good driver. That they're actually like they're good at following line and winning races and doing whatever, but that also the Drivatar itself makes, from what they've seen, the Drivatar itself makes decisions that are detrimental to them being able to finish a race or race against whomever, because what they are doing is they are fucking up the race in the process. And I'm like, okay, so if the Drivatar system knows that, oh well, if somebody's getting better at driving, then I should grant them abilities that make it more difficult when you're racing against them. If that's all it does, it just basically is always trying to pick like optimal lines, but based on the difficulty or ability of somebody to do a thing. It's like, well, no. Why would somebody fly off? Why would the computer decide the optimal way to win this race is to fly off the track and land on somebody in the opposite direction, or pull a handbrake turn in the middle of the road and basically block everybody from doing so? That's non-optimal for a system to do.
It's been watching too many racing movies, because they definitely think that's a good way to do it in those.
It's been watching Prefontaine. It's been like, oh, I get to the end, but I can just block everybody and be like, you know what? I don't have to finish this race.
One of the aspects, because of the Drivatar thing, one of the aspects of this that's great is that, hypothetically, this guy, Bowie 99, might not even know that this is happening.
No.
Maybe this is just how he's driving.
Yeah. Just enjoying the game by like, I'm driving around and then sometimes I just want to go.
And doesn't actually know that he's terrorizing everybody.
Well,
I just want to see what happens when I do this.
We do news stories based off of the fact that other people post news stories.
Yeah.
I would say at this point he probably knows.
He probably
True.
But I mean, nobody's done like an interview with a real person or
No,
so,
but like
yeah.
You see if
He
you
probably
see your
knows.
you see your username show up in a news post,
Well,
I think you know.
It is.
And I mean, like even the developers like posted a tweet. They're like, whatever. It's for happy Forza whatever. I hope everyone's enjoying the game except Bowie 99. Like the developers not only know it's so like it seems weird that they wouldn't have some controls on the AI system to like not drive deliberately dangerously.
Right.
But maybe that's part of the like maybe because the Horizon series is the more sort of arcadey series.
I'm sorry, you said deliberately not drive dangerously in a racing game, like everyone's gonna follow the laws of the road.
I mean, there's following laws of the road, and then there's just like driving past and knocking people and just going totally nutso.
And if I think I'd said the other day, it's like if you have if you have this thing that is happening in your game and it's causing people to like people are really reporting it and concentrating on it and saying all sorts of stuff, but ultimately it's like, is it detrimental to the game overall? It's like, well, we don't know because people are making memes about it or they're posting about it or whatever. Your marketing department's going to argue with your devs and say, I know that you want this to stop, but this is actually getting us a lot of free press.
They have been talking that there's going to be they're working on like handling some I think describe it as sort of unexpected AI behavior or something. So there might be a patch.
I don't know that I would call it detrimental when it's not like this is a driver in every race you've ever been in, because at that point that's just stalking.
But also, Paul, you make a good point. Like unexpected behavior from the Drivatar system to say that, well, we don't want people to do this thing that is unexpected, drive off the road on a hairpin curve and then basically land on somebody else to F up their race. It's like, sure, that's unexpected. But that might not be an artifact of the Drivatar system. Again, this is back to the thing of like, I'm making a lot of suppositions here, but it's like none of the other Drivatars are doing this. Nobody else has come forward to be like, actually, I've raced against 3 other people that are also doing the same thing.
I mean, maybe they're just not as prominent.
I would suggest that instead of taking out unexpected behavior, they add more.
Yes.
So certain Drivatars maybe turn into horses at some point, still going the same speed.
Well, one of the, I saw in the in one of the threads people were talking about this is that like, what if this is because when it's doing the Drivatar things, it first pulls from your friends.
Sure.
So like this is to encourage people to add more people to their friends list.
But
if you leave an open spot on your friends list, Bowie 99's coming for you.
Sneaks in. To be like, you might want to fill this up with more people. Yeah, you need to learn who else is playing this.
But also, yes, cars just randomly. I mean,
or they turn into to the Pixar cars.
Oh yeah. They talk.
If you want to see some of those kind of shenanigans, Ian's going to be doing his 24 hours of Le Mans next month.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, it's
the
like
final episode
where
the 12th or the 13th or something.
Yeah, where he often has hot dog cars and buses and all sorts of different.
He's got some sushi cars.
Nice.
Generally like a bus, a couple things that I think are representative of the different shifts on Desert Bus and stuff.
Yeah.
I like that this is going on. I think it's very interesting. I also think that the devs saying we're going to try to step in and account for this, and that could be just removing that Drivatar from the game entirely, being like, we don't want that to happen. There will be copycats. Clearly, there are people who will start doing the same thing, and maybe that will lead to more of this kind of behavior.
I saw somebody was like, they should fix and patch this for everybody except him.
Yeah. Nobody else can do it. This one just gets worse.
But yeah. Anyway, it's I also like that in a lot of the articles about this, it's framed as like, remember, the famous "Let Me Solo Her"
Yes.
player.
Yeah.
It's like this is the evil version
Yeah.
of that. A random guy showing up in your game, but causing trouble instead of helping you out.
And
So instead of
not
let
even,
me solo her, let me solo you.
Yeah.
and not even consciously knowing that they're doing it, which is what's great too. Is that I mean, unless the person training their drivatar by driving in this way is like, I want to see what happens when I get completely off the rails.
And of course, there is the what's the name of that? There's that the whatever bias.
Confirmation bias, selection bias.
Sort of selection bias, because once you have been primed that Bowie Knife 99 is this thing.
Yeah.
Now, if he shows up in your game, there might other drivers might be acting weird, but when you see it's Bowie Knife 99, now you're going to be like, oh, I got hit by that guy.
Yeah. It reinforces
Confirmation bias. Yeah.
It definitely reinforces the lore. It reinforces the legend.
When you see one red car, now suddenly you're always seeing red cars.
Yeah. That's going to be. I think that's going to be interesting that if they come at this to be like, well, if it is a problem with the system learning all sorts of unusual behavior, and they're like, we want to try to stamp that out because we want it to feel that it's not, that you're not. You are the one who can be reckless in your own game because you're ultimately still playing just a single player game. You're not playing against live players, and I think that'll be interesting. They do it, even if it destroys the legend. But
I don't know. I depend. It depends on how really destructive that is. Like if it's just a race every so often, I don't think it's that big of a deal personally.
Yeah,
it's not. If somehow this driver can camp your respawns, then I guess
It's interesting how the sort of feelings around this are different because it is like the drivatar, like it isn't an actual guy trolling you.
Yeah.
It's sort of it's an AI. There's that sort of one step removed that you're kind of like, oh, it's just kind of silly.
Yeah.
As opposed to like this guy's being an asshole.
Mm-hmm.
Which is an interesting aspect of this, that that by having it sort of, it's nobody's fault,
right?
Except for maybe the developers, but it makes it sort of more of a fun thing rather than an actual like one guy is just ruining the experience for other people.
And I also can't understand how what it is they're sifting through to decide what makes the drivatar, like what does it learn from, or what behaviors does it try to do, or what does it ratchet up in terms of the numbers that make up its thing? Because
and I mean,
I saw a YouTube video of somebody who's like, I'm going to go race the Shinkansen. And they are racing the Shinkansen at 300 kilometers an hour. And it's like, okay, so you can do that. How does that influence what your drivatar becomes?
Right. And I mean, I'm sure there's various various things about like, maybe the drivatars aren't actually like the amount, like you two were talking about the Smash Brothers thing.
Yeah.
Like maybe the amount that you can influence your drivatar is actually not very much.
And
it's basically all just like there's like, 10 different preset AI modes that it works in.
Maybe it's like Civilization Gandhi.
I'm sure there's someone online who's done a video about it, and it's just not us.
Yeah.
Anyway,
let's move on to a couple of stories that came out that we didn't end up talking about in the episode. Starting with one about some fellow journalists.
Mm-hmm.
Some journalists, we'll say.
We might not. They may not consider us.
Yeah,
co-workers.
They don't work here.
Yeah. There's a whole thing about The Gamer, which is a video game news outlet, which is owned by Valmet, the parent company. Anyway,
Okay.
A whole kerfuffle is happening because they basically said a thing around being like, we have an exciting new compensation system that we're going to use.
How we're going to pay you.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
It's performance-based.
Yeah. So instead of paying you money and then you get a bonus for the traffic that your article gets, we're just going to pay you for traffic that your article gets.
Mm-hmm. That will mean the best.
It's like
leave.
And they're talking like it's between like $3 to $8 per 1,000 sessions, which are different than views.
Okay. Oh,
it's like
shit.
a session is like when somebody like goes on and is there for it. It's only one. If someone like goes on and then does a bunch of different stuff on the website,
Right.
it's only one session.
So now all the people who write all this stuff are basically, I mean, that's the thing. You have a bunch of people who are writing stuff, and it's like, well, they're very good at writing things, and what are they writing about this terrible? I mean, obviously, this is a terrible way to make this work.
Right.
Yes.
It's so terrible, in fact, that the Lex Luddy, the former editor of The Gamer, so they don't work there anymore.
Sure.
Is like, this is basically just a soft, like, firing. Like, this is a soft, we're making you quit now.
Yeah. Because what you've basically said is you can put in all the work that you want. You can keep writing stuff and writing stuff and writing stuff. And now we've just decided that you could write a whole bunch of things, and if it doesn't earn any money, well, that was the agreement, that you put in, you're doing a bunch of work for free, and it's not earning enough to actually pay you anything. So thank you for writing all these free articles for us, when these people are trying to make a living doing this.
Right, and yes, as Rather Large Toad saying, simultaneously to this, there's this whole thing. In fact, at the recent Google I/O conference,
right,
they talked about how they're doing it even more, where their Google is pulling information from all these websites and summarizing it and presenting it to you without you ever actually going to the website.
So if you wrote a single article,
it never actually starts a session.
Nobody ever sees it because they actually just get the AI summary of it. The bulk of people might just go looking for a thing and being like, oh, I have an AI summary of the article now. I don't need to know anything about going to the website.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, I guess this kind of pivots back to what a lot of online journalism was in the earlier days, which is literally, I have a blog and I want to write about my favorite thing, and people found a way to make that into their real job. And now it's like, oh, now you'll have to go get a shitty job somewhere.
We already had like an issue with some stuff in regards to like, oh, they only want articles that do clicks. Yeah. So therefore, it's why sometimes you'll see like a really large proportion of articles on one thing, or the same interview in like 16 different articles talking about 16 different sentences to hit whatever. Like, there's already some terrible stuff. This is worse.
Yeah.
This doesn't make anything remotely better.
There's always a lot of talk about the BuzzFeedification of journalism, where it turns into like listicles and like a bunch of other. BuzzFeed takes a lot of shit.
I was
for having like a pretty good news department.
I was gonna say even that's like a 5 or 10 year old thing now.
Yeah, and
we're past that now.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with like writing lists and stuff as a portion.
Yeah. But like this sucks because it erodes enthusiast news to the point where what you'll end up with is purely corporate news that is coming from viewpoints that are meant to keep you compliant. Because there's no reason for like the Washington Post to do any reporting on video game anything. Other than maybe say that it's worth billions of dollars now, and aren't we so happy that everyone plays video games because it's worth billions of dollars? And it'll turn into a thing of, you won't have video game news reporting as an example, because if this kind of thing starts happening in more and more places, or Google starts making AI summaries of stuff, and money's just not kind of flowing through those systems anymore, it's like, well, then people aren't doing that as a job anymore.
I mean, there's nothing. Okay, I don't understand the logic of there's no reason for the Washington Post to talk about video games when that's a big part of the entertainment industry now.
Yeah, but they if the people running the Washington Post didn't give a shit about video games, they're like, I don't think that's important. I only think what's important is financial reporting on what a company who makes a video game is doing. You're not going to hear about they're not going to talk about blueprints. They're not going to talk about
but they're going to have
games.
A reporter who's assigned to that beat, who's going to have that interest set in the first place, or who's going to want to.
But so that's one job. and that's kind of it, right? Like
So?
that's the thing. They don't have the big corporate news is not going to have an interest in covering enthusiast news the way that it gets covered these days. It's bleak. This kind of thing happening everywhere is bleak.
And by the way, this company owns a bunch of gaming sites.
Yeah.
So far, The Gamer is the only place that seems to do it, but like, for instance, they own Polygon as well. So far, this one site is the only one that has talked about having received these new mandate or this new contract or whatever. But
Yeah.
I mean, I think Polygon went through a shift a few months back as well, though.
they got bought by this company.
Yeah, and
And
people
there's
did
some
leave over it, and
layoffs
there was a bunch of sites over there too.
Yeah.
Yeah. All of the big sites have gone through. As a completely as a side note, I wanted to shout out somebody in the comments. Somebody was like, I'm taking The Gamer, taking Polygon off my list of websites to look at.
Sure.
Where do you go now? Somebody's like, well, here's the sites that I like. They're like Destructoid has got some stuff on it, although this guy's saying, well, I don't know about stuff. Kotaku, they're saying it's gotten better, stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Silicon Era apparently is, this
Okay.
guy really likes Blues News. He goes, loading ready run. Twitch streamers and YouTube stuff, they do a weekly gaming news podcast that is a definite watch from me.
All right. Thank you.
It's not going to help
commenter.
if all those sites go away, though.
I know, that's the problem.
You could try Mothership. That's a new thing that's got a bunch of, I think it's women writers together. That's a subscription-based one.
Yeah, I know Vice was doing their had their gaming imprint for a while, which I forget what they called it, but they had a gaming imprint for a while, and I don't know if they spun it off or if they continue to do it or not. I think it came out of Motherboard, but like also 404 Media does reporting, and I think they do some gaming stuff from time to time.
This is on Aftermath, which
yeah.
Right, yeah, Aftermath is another one of the ones that...
We're seeing
somebody then replied to that guy saying, "I've seen Lure. I see Lure for magic content, but maybe I should check out the other stuff."
Oh, good. Yes, I'd love to hear that. But it's funny, right? Because when you think about what we're really getting into this story, obviously, because it's kind of strikes near and dear to a thing that we do here, and that ChillPoint being a remix of news that is being presented that other people had to do the research on and have to present it, even if sometimes it is just press release stuff. A lot of times when it is like these are issues that affect the industry, it's like, yeah, we have a stake in the game too, that we want this stuff to also be be good quality and be well researched and to have people like present it, and we want to be able to show you the funny thing and have you enjoy it too, and bring it to your attention. You can only do 4 or 5 of those a week.
Yeah, and it's... Again, I'm not saying that people don't get benefit out of ChillPoint or learn things from ChillPoint, just so much as we take from the other sources to make that happen.
Yeah, we're a tertiary news source.
We don't generally go out on our own for a lot of journalism. We do some research and stuff, certainly, but not to that.
I'm sorry, I have a phone call.
Beach has to leave.
That's fair. He's got important news reporting to do.
Probably complaints. What else can we talk about?
Patents. Sony has filed a patent for a new idea for how to present matchmaking on PS5. So
okay,
when you're waiting for a lobby to fill up to play your game, right?
That kind of matchmaking, sure.
Yeah, not looking for other PS5 owners.
Not looking for other fan groups to hang out with.
No. So they have.
Does it include allowing yourself to matchmake with other consoles? Because they seem to hate that.
No, well, that's not part of this patent anyway.
Oh, all right. I guess that wouldn't be.
The thing about the thing that they're talking about here is that their idea is that while you're waiting in queue, this is what the patent is for.
Okay.
that while you're waiting in the queue,
Waiting.
you know, you're playing like a battle royale game that needs like 100 people, right? So you gotta
So you gotta wait.
They wait a while. While you're waiting in the queue, they can have like a picture-in-picture showing cool things like game highlights or
I guess,
scores.
but like we all second screen now, right? Like I could just play Balatro.
Maybe they could
Or
have
Vampire
that built
Survivors. Or something like that.
That was a weird one. That wasn't Ellis this time.
Oh.
It was a guy who wanted to speak to Graham, but would not tell me where he was calling from. And I'm like, what business are you with? He's like, well, I am calling to introduce my business to your company and to give you, yes, what business is that? So he's like, well, can you put me in touch with Graham Stark? And I'm like, I cannot. He's on a business trip. Well, when is he going to be back? You're calling me on my cell phone. This will never go to Graham Stark. You need to tell me who you are and why you're calling.
Okay.
He's like, well, if it's not his phone number, then I'll remove you from our list because we got your stuff from a database company. Awesome.
Cool. He wouldn't give us which database company,
sure-
so we could hunt that down.
Zoom
sure-
Info.
I'm sure Graham will appreciate
That was the name of the company.
That you didn't send forward his message.
I have a firm rule, and this is good advice for everybody else, but it's like I have a firm rule that's like if you ask me for somebody else's phone number, I will never give contact details out for anybody else that I know to somebody else.
Well, yeah.
But I will, if you give me your phone number, I will give that to the person you want to talk to, and then it's up to them whether they want to call you back or not.
Yeah, because that's the proper way to go about
That
things.
is the proper way.
I personally will just never tell anyone that I ever talked to you.
Yeah.
So don't talk to me to talk to someone else.
Yeah.
It's never going anywhere.
Anyway, what we were talking about
Yes.
is there's a patent that Sony has filed for an idea for matchmaking on games where you can, while the matchmaking is happening, while people are filling up the
while you're waiting for the
queue,
room to fill, yeah.
you can have like a picture-in-picture of
great.
like game
Yeah.
highlights.
So this is
or-
loading time, waiting for things.
Yeah.
But like
It's
not right.
Like the queue's filling up. You could watch other people playing the game and having interesting things happening in the game and be like getting excited about, oh, look at the cool kill that just happened. Here's
Right.
the top 10 whatever's that happened. How are they
Yeah.
going to fuck it up, Paul?
Man, the game is so scared that you might leave in the
There's-
queue that they have to entertain you still.
So I mean, there's a box for content on in a corporate-owned environment.
That kind of locked you in.
What do you think is going to show up? It's like maybe it'll be useful things like gameplay highlights or scores or things,
Yeah.
but it's probably going to be ads.
Yeah.
Oh, they're gonna force me to watch horror movie ads, aren't they?
Oh, that is the worst, right?
Yeah, I hate it. I don't think YouTube should be allowed to show. I don't think anybody should be allowed to show off a horror movie ad
As an unskippable
as an
thing.
unskippable thing.
Yeah.
It's that Netflix has started going to a full screen ad the moment you pause any video now
Oh,
is ridiculous.
that's gross. I haven't been on there in a long time.
So
Anyway,
yeah.
this is a patent that
This
they
is a
filed.
patent, which
so
means
this
they
is
don't-
not implemented.
They might not implement it.
Is it listed in the description of the patent that we could also run an ad in this window? Like they're just saying anything could be put in here. For example, we could put in game highlights, but also we could put in advertising.
I think it's basically a list of stuff where ads are like mentioned as a possibility.
Right. So it is explicitly stated in the patent that they're like, this could also belong in this space.
I don't know.
It's interesting because if I was making a game where I had like a queue and you had to wait to do whatever, I'd be like, well, if you have to wait and it could be a wait of up to like 2 minutes or 3 minutes, I might give you a little thing to do in that space. Because I know like with loading screens, sometimes you do like little animations or little tips about the game.
Sure.
But it may be like, play a little game of Snake.
But I'm
That
just
would
saying
be
like
fun.
who in this day and age just doesn't open up their phone and play a phone game.
Yeah.
Or check
We all have
their
second
DMs
screens.
or go get snacks or
Yeah.
Do stretches. You don't always have to be glued to the screen even when you're waiting for a queue.
Yeah.
You could
That's
be glued
true.
to a different screen.
Yeah, you'd be glued to a different screen.
Anyway, because sometimes there's situations where you aren't looking at an ad,
Yeah.
so we need to fix that.
Yeah. When it comes to ad, Laserbeaks points out, Twitch basically plays ads while loading you into your stream. I mean, loading
Yeah.
people into this stream, in fact. That will
Certainly,
happen
yeah.
if you're not subbed to the channel. And I'm like, My feel on it is, obviously, advertising is getting more and more like it's just getting
overly
more and
aggressive.
more. And the pre-roll ads, I'm willing to put up with from YouTube, even though it is a little frustrating because you have like 4 ads in a row, and then eventually you get to hit skip, and you're like, okay. Mid-roll ads, I do not feel should be extensive, but clearly they are. Like, it's like, well, it's not just we're going to play you a 5-second ad or a 10-second ad. Sometimes it is like we're going to do the same block of ads we did in the pre-roll.
Sometimes it's just the same ad 4 times.
It's true. Post-roll ads are hilarious because I'm usually pretty active when I'm watching things. So if I get a post-roll ad for something, I've actually just, when the video's over, I've hit skip and we're done. Like, I'm not ever going to see those as a result. And so, like, Netflix running ads on pause, it's like, oh fuck, this is the world we live in, and this is what's going to be happening.
But here's the thing: if I've paused a video,
I've walked away from it.
I'm not there anymore.
Yeah, running
I've
an ad
left
is
to
like
go do something.
not making an impression. It's just annoying people. So it's weird how I don't know what it is that the how they're positioning this kind of stuff to happen this way. But Jesus, to be in a queue and all of a sudden be served like a movie ad, especially Sony, right? Because it's PS5. Movie ads are going to start showing up in there from Sony-owned production companies and stuff, from Sony Studios and everything.
I mean, as ads go,
Yeah.
I feel like, generally speaking, movie ads are probably like the least objectionable one. I mean, aside from the horror movies.
The horror movies are the ones that really bother
But like,
me.
I feel like most people, like in the terms of like the hierarchy of ads that you don't want to see. I mean, for instance, movie theaters show ads, start the movie, and then show more ads.
Yeah.
Because they're like, well, these aren't ads, these are trailers.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
movie theaters also do this terrible thing where they'll show you extensive interviews for the movie you're about to see, which means you spoil
Massive spoilers.
stuff.
Yeah. It's frustrating.
For a thing
too.
you're already locked in on.
Yeah. It's the idea of, like, I see Aaron bringing up Dropout as an option. I guess they're not doing advertising in the same way, or maybe even at all.
Well, because it's a subscription-based thing.
But so is Netflix, right?
Well, yeah, but not the same.
So you have to wonder how that's all managed.
If you subscribe to the more expensive Netflix, then you don't have ads.
Yeah,
exactly.
We've gotten that new era of you can get the cheaper subscription, which is just the old price because we inflated a new one.
Yeah.
But ads now.
I do wonder, like, when I paid for that 1 year of Nebula and there was no ads at all, and I paid $30 for the year or something. I'm just like, I paid $30 for a year of this streaming service that has a bunch of YouTubers on it that have no ads attached to it, no algorithm associated with it, which is such a hard. I never broke that habit of, I want to watch a thing. Wait, no, that'll put it all over my feed. It's like, there's no feed here.
Yeah.
Just go watch what you want to watch. Think of it like television. And the idea of people finding new ways to expose us to ads for a thing that I've already paid for. And I'm like, oh, I hate this.
Otherwise, it's
on
just
a console.
Otherwise, it's just wasted time.
Right? And like, ugh.
Yeah.
Speaking of wasted time,
They
Thanks.
just read books now. They haven't put ads in the middle of books yet.
Oh
it's
my
called
God.
It's called newspapers, I guess,
I don't
you-
read newspapers.
Could you
and
imagine?
magazines.
You start reading a book, and you get to like the center of your book, and there's like a small full color ad that's been like part of the signature, and you're like, what the fuck is this? Because you have to tear it out of your
comic
book.
books do that too. Yeah.
Yeah, comic books do that. I'm talking about the ones without pictures, guys.
Yeah, an actual just novel. Oh God, do your audiobooks ever have ads?
No.
Thank Christ.
But you know what has ads that's been really annoying? Because my podcasts that I get off of
A lot of podcasts do.
Apple, they used to have no ads in them. Generally, people will also put their thing up on YouTube, and so you get YouTube ads. But I know that somehow ads are getting injected into the episode. I know they're not putting them in there because I'm getting ads that are definitely video-based ads.
Wow.
For things like local Save-On Foods.
There are companies that do,
And that's really annoying.
that do podcast ad injections.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
But you can tell when you listen to them that it's meant to be a video ad.
Because there's nothing describing what's going on. It's just music.
Or you'll hear like you'll hear the noise effects from the visuals, and then you'll hear people talk, but it's very clear that what they're saying makes no sense because you can't see the thing they're talking about.
Radio ads used to be that was an art in itself, right?
Oh,
Much like making a television ad. It was like you make a radio ad, and that was a way to advertise. I'm surprised that for podcasting ad services, they're just like, who gives a shit? Shove in a 30-second Save on Foods ad that doesn't identify what it is at all.
Yes, there are books that still do, depending on the publisher, but did put a thing at the end of the book where you could order other books in the series. That's not quite what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
that's a post-roll ad.
I'm talking about like a thing right in the middle of the chapter where like stuff's about to get good, and then suddenly there's just like a full-page ad.
It does not. It shocks the hell out of me that Amazon actually hasn't actually implemented a means in Kindle reading to just start jamming in advertising in the middle of people's books.
Pretty sure the Kindle, at least the stuff I've heard about Kindles, because I don't have one.
Again, if you put it to sleep, it'll show you ads.
Is that they're very ad intensive and heavy for like just being on your screen.
Right.
So it kind of more in the way that your smart TV will be than in the middle of the thing.
Get a Kobo.
Anyway. Meta or Facebook. You may have heard they recently laid off 10% of their workforce.
That could be thousands.
Yeah.
That could be 10 people.
And what was super quote unquote fun about that is that they announced that they would be laying off 10% of their workforce at the end of April.
All right.
So they announced at the end of April that they would be laying off 10% of their workforce.
Here's our roadmap.
At the end of May. So they basically, there was like 30 days
Okay.
where people were like,
Is it going to be me?
is it going to be me?
Right.
Yeah. Which seems like a terrible idea.
Sure.
It's a long time to get people to ask that question.
And I would assume that the productivity just tanked in the entire place.
I
during
hope
that
so.
Half hour.
Yeah.
During that year, or that month.
I mean, maybe they were hoping that then you'll see what everyone's truly capable of in that month while they try to save their jobs.
Oh, that's such a BS line from a CEO.
Oh no, but that's the kind of thing where it's like, well, we really want to give everyone incentive to not lose their jobs, and I'm like, wow, that's vicious and cruel.
So about a week after they announced that they were going to lay off 10% of people.
Okay, so partway into April.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So
Okay.
April 30th. This was like a week after the beginning.
Okay.
There was an all hands meeting, and the audio from that meeting has been leaked. And some people were asking about the employee device tracking tech that has causing some issues on people's computers. And he's saying basically the idea is they are training AI models on their employees working on stuff. This is the quote from him saying, "We're in a phase where basically the AI models learn from watching really smart people do things." Saying, so if you're trying to get it to be able to do certain capabilities, having it be able to observe really smart people doing these things is really important. So there are a few examples where we're trying to do this across the company, because one of the basic insight and hypothesis we have is that a lot of data generation across this field is done by like these contract companies. But in general, the average intelligence of people who are at this company is significantly higher than the average set of people that you can get to do tasks who are working through contracts, through these contractors. So we're trying to teach the model coding. Then we're going to have the people internally build tools or solve tasks that teach the model how to code. We think this is going to dramatically increase our model's coding ability faster than what others in the industry have had the capability to do, and who don't have thousands and thousands of extremely strong engineers at your company. So this is the kind of thing. So this is Mark Zuckerberg.
Uh-huh.
So this is the kind of thing where you can imagine, like in his mind,
Oh, I
he
don't wanna
thinks
go
that
there.
this is complimenting everybody.
Right.
He thinks that this is like, so what we're doing is we're installing AI stuff on your computers to watch you work,
Yep.
to train the AI stuff to do your job.
And you're so good at your job.
And we want to do that to you specific. Like we could just get a bunch of data for this. We could buy contractors to do this, but we want to get you guys to do it because you are such good programmers that if we train it on you guys, then our AI is going to be smarter than everybody else's AI.
Yeah.
I hope all
And-
their AI learns is the fact that the mouse moves back and forth. Because some people, set up stuff
Yeah.
to make it look more active because of how stupid some of the spy software is.
And it's like, it would be like, he thinks that that's like a compliment. And it's like, already that's like, dumb. But also, this is a week after they have announced that 10% of the workforce is going to be high. So they are now 3 weeks away from 10% of the workforce being fired.
So I guess that the 10% that that are going to end up being fired can take some solace in knowing that there's no goddamn way the AI was tracking them because clearly they weren't important enough for
Or-
Facebook to keep.
Or you have 3 weeks to poison it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd like to hope that they would, but there's too many people. The problem is these companies still exist because enough people are like, man, I just need this fucking job. Like in order to live in the city, in order to make my money so that I can afford my house and stuff living in San Francisco or like whatever the hell. It's like the kind of like doomed lock-in. That's one side of it. And then there are also people who are like, no, I love Flavor Aid. I will drink all of it that you give me. I am totally about the Facebook ethos because god damn it, it'll be me one day standing at the top of that heap, shaking Mark Zuckerberg's hands as he hands over the keys to the kingdom to me so that I can run it. There are both of these kind of people who work at that place, and that means that they are both working to further the goal of the thing in the first place. There aren't people who are working there and be like, man, I wish I could just tear this whole fucking place down. There will be almost nobody like that there.
I don't know. I think you can have a person who wants to tear the whole place down who is also working there because they have to have a job.
In a lot of ways,
I think those are two mutually exclusive things that can work together.
in a lot of ways, I think it is very much the people who are with Facebook right now, I feel like are in this thing of, I need to have a stable job, and Meta still has the money. Even if I don't like the goal, I need to raise my kids. I think there's some of that going on there where it's like, I'm just kind of a prisoner to this thing unless I can find another place to go.
Anyway, shout out to this is an article on Kotaku about this by John Walker. And I do love, this is
The headline?
this is deeply in the commentary section of Kotaku. 'Cause I love the way this article is. The first line of the article is, I don't know if you've heard the news, but Mark Zuckerberg is a real piece of shit.
Good.
Extra.
Yeah. Anyway. All right. Well, there's one other one. So, this is a little bit like the let me solo her.
Okay.
thing.
All right.
So there's a guy who goes by the name of Now Man. Anyway, there's so Bloodborne has a thing where you can summon people to help you
Oh, okay.
to do fights, sort of like the Let Me Solo Her
Sure.
thing, right?
Yeah.
That's in Elden Ring, but in Bloodborne has a similar thing. You can summon people
Same
to help you
devs,
with
isn't
a
it?
particular fight. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so there's this guy who has sort of set himself up as expert in this one particular boss fight, which is generally considered to be one of the hardest boss fights in the DLC for the game.
Okay.
And therefore, basically one of the hardest boss fights in the entire game.
And so he just sits there all day on his PS4 waiting for people to summon him into the game.
Yeah, well, he has been doing that. He's been just kind of
Letting his PS4 idle?
not necessarily idle, but he like goes on a couple days a week.
Okay.
And is there to be summoned if people want him. And he says apparently he's helped like over like 5,000 people fight this boss.
Okay.
And he's like he quite likes fighting this particular
If you're
boss.
lucky and you could find him and he takes your job,
Well,
you might be able to contact the A-team.
Sadly, what the story is about is it's a sign of the falling Bloodborne player base. He's saying he announced his retirement from doing this. He's saying like it just wasn't worth it. He was the line is saying I'm basically just sitting in a cave all day and not getting summoned.
Yeah.
And he's like I was paying for like PlayStation Plus. But like that was really the only thing I was using it for.
You have to in order to do online
gaming. In order to do online gaming.
Yeah.
And so he's like, yeah. So I was just kind of sitting in a cave, waiting to get summoned, and nobody was summoning me because it's an old game now.
It is, yeah.
The player base has moved on.
A lot of people who still play don't really summon people.
Right, because they're playing it on their own for the challenge of it. And, yeah.
Not to say that there aren't people who do it, but just like probably why he was getting maybe summoned quite a bit.
Yeah.
So anyway,
that's
the end. Right. The end of an era.
Yeah.
Godspeed. Don't take up Destiny 2. That's probably not the game you want to move over to at this point.
Probably not right now. No.
And finally, a man has sued Nintendo because they wouldn't let him become a Pokemon professor.
You might ask yourself, okay, what is a Pokemon professor?
Well, it's a card game thing.
It is tied to the card game. And the Pokemon professor is like becoming a magic judge.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. You get special. So being a Pokemon professor means that you have to pass an exam to show that you're
you have to pass a knowledgeable exam.
Exactly. So you pass this exam that the Pokemon company themselves is like, this is the exam that you have to pass in order to be named this thing. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then that opens up things to you, like you have your own specialized tournaments that you can compete in if you want to, and you get some swag and some stuff from this participating in this process as well. It's all meant to support the overall player community, to be like, we have a pool of judges that we know of that we have authorized to be able to participate in the process in the first place. And this man is suing the Pokemon Company and also Nintendo, who are part of the Pokemon Company, but they're suing them as part of this thing named separately, but in the same suit, because they said, sorry, we're not going to authorize you as a Pokemon professor.
Yeah, so he apparently passed the knowledge test.
Yep.
No problem.
But not the background check.
But not the background check.
Nope.
Apparently he has a 10-year-old low-level felony.
In Illinois.
And also a pending arrest warrant in another state.
Maryland, I think.
For failing to appear in court on a misdemeanor charge of disorderly conduct by engaging in fighting, possessing or repairing or selling an offensive weapon, and criminal mischief through damage to property. One could argue that those are all things that you do in the Pokemon game.
Yes. You let kids
but it's probably
beat
not
the shit
something
of each other.
You want a judge.
Fighting, repairing, selling, and using offensive property and criminal mischief through property damage definitely are all things that happen in abundance in the Pokemon games.
And interestingly enough, the Pokemon Company has an appeals process that's available to Pokemon professors that are like, if you feel that you're being unfairly judged or whatever, you want somebody to go over the thing, like you've been told maybe you're getting your professorship taken away, you're losing tenure. this guy wasn't a Pokemon professor to start
he
with.
was applying to be one.
He was applying to be one, so it's like the appeals process looks like it wasn't available to him as a recourse. And so he's suing them for $341,000 in lost earnings.
Yeah.
This
This is a fucking card game. Like, I don't think the Pokemon professor is a paid position.
Well, but he's losing out on the economic benefits that come with hosting an event.
There we are.
And he no longer has commercial advantages such as product sales. I would suspect.
So is this just a weird way to become a?
Like maybe he's somebody who actually like runs a card store or something. Yeah. And is trying to run events.
Yeah. Now his argument too is that felony is 10 years old. It sounds like it hasn't been expunged from his record. You can seek that sometimes.
Yeah.
In some cases to expunge felonies from your record in the United
States. And
he
wasn't convicted.
Yeah, and then and that was the other thing. Failure to appear as a misdemeanor for like whatever was supposed to be going on. Well, he didn't appear. That misdemeanor sounds like it's open still. That it's like this is still a going concern. But he also says I wasn't convicted, and it's like, well, is that because you didn't appear and they didn't convict you, or because they dropped the case but the misdemeanor's open because you still failed to appear? Like it's a little. I don't understand how state laws work.
Yeah, I don't really know how those work, but I think if it's possible that you can still be in trouble for not appearing even if a thing gets dropped, because that's the thing you're actually getting in trouble for. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'm not really sure how that works.
I can understand that if this person, it doesn't say that they run an LGS or anything, like nothing in the story I think alleges the fact that they own an LGS, they do whatever. So therefore the thing is, if it was one of these like quid pro quo type situations where it's like, if I was a Pokemon professor, then I would be at these LGSs to help facilitate tournaments, and then I get a kickback on that, which maybe is not allowed in the first place.
Or I could set up tournaments.
The special swag is worth certain amounts of money. I mean, because we know how Pokemon cards are.
Yeah,
it's true.
Judge foils were a thing for a while, or still are kind of a thing from Magic, right?
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure. I don't know about like the judges themselves, but I know whenever they have the big Pokemon events, if you go to them, you get special like jackets or like different things.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess you could base it off of that.
And I mean, in a lot of ways, it's I'm sure there are people who participate in a lot of tournaments like this, where you're winning swag, or you're winning packs, or you're winning boxes, you're winning interesting things like the jackets and whatnot, and being like, yeah, the whole reason why I'm doing this is to facilitate my life. That it's like it's not like going to a poker tournament and winning $100,000 and being like, great, that's gonna sustain me for the next like 7 months. It's like, I got to turn around and sell all the shit that I win on eBay to other people, so that's how I'm gonna be able to afford to live.
Is there anything about how, because we know that there's a monetary amount that he's suing for, but is there anything about how should he win that they have to instate him as a Pokemon professor?
It doesn't sound like there'd be anything attached to that, because I think that might be one of those things that's like separate from the court. And
he is being part of he is being in, it's $341,000 and to be instituted as a Pokemon professor.
Okay, so he's seeking relief based on that as well. That's interesting. I guess you sue for damages because it's like monetarily, then at least you get something if they decide not to do the other thing. But it would be weird though, right? Getting instituted as a Pokemon professor, and then at that point, Pokemon companies would be like, we're going to keep an eye on this guy, and if he does anything hinky, then he's out in his fucking ear. Like, yeah.
Anyway, you said, how is that legally enforceable? It probably isn't. As many a lawyer will say, you can sue anybody for anything.
Yeah. I mean, maybe there is
what actually sticks is a big question.
Yeah, and maybe you could get that as part of relief, but it's like, that's not a permanent thing. You can't say you must make this guy a Pokemon professor for 10 years. I'm like, we can't do that, because that if he does anything outside of the terms of the contract that they have to obey by, you've basically tied our hands that we have to keep some guy who's a shithead in our community. Not saying this guy's a shithead, but
but if the reasoning for them withdrawing his application is the felonies, and he gets a judgment that that's not a reason why they can deny his application.
Yeah.
I think they can force the application to be considered good.
Yeah.
It's just not necessarily like at that point you find maybe other reasons or
it's
other stuff. Like it's
always that it's like that thing that sometimes you hear about, like with like wrongful termination suits.
Yeah.
Where it's like people want to get, but you'll see the terms of the suit will be like a bunch of money, and they also get reinstated in their position.
Yeah.
And it's always like, really? Do you want to go back to that company now?
Yeah.
Like you don't want to work for that company that tried to screw you over like that, right?
And sometimes it's like that, and sometimes it's unknown worlds.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, right. Yeah.
We're getting back into the company as part of it. But.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I assume those people never stay around for a very long time, but if you're reinstated, that means that they still have to pay out certain benefits you wouldn't have gotten because of the other thing.
It does make me wonder if because I feel like part of this, if depending on what's happening here, I'm sure the judge might turn around and say, if I'm going to find in favor of your client, the fact that they still have a felony that they haven't applied to expunge from their record or hasn't been able to be expunged from their record, and the fact that they have this open misdemeanor, it's like if your client hasn't done any work to kind of clean up their own background, then that should also be seen as a problem, and that it's like they're just seeking to kind of move ahead with these things. So I could find for your client as long as your client also proves that they're going to go clean these other things up.
Now I'm just imagining this happening like in like the Pokemon cartoon, and like
Professor Oak,
and like they go to court, and and then the judge is like, like Jesse from Team Rocket in a very unconvincing disguise, and the guy's lawyer is like, I think we're going to be fine.
Yeah.
James tries to become a professor, but he can't because he's got indictments for being part of Team Rocket.
This definitely feels like an
He
episode
comes
of
from
the
a
anime.
well-to-do family.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, he comes from a rich family. He ran away as a kid.
Okay. Like Shaggy.
Jesse backstory.
Yeah.
I don't know that lore.
So apparently everyone always assumed that like Fred had money or Daphne had money, like that kind of thing, and that's how they keep things going. It turns out Shaggy's from old money, and he's very well off. His name isn't even Shaggy; it's Norbert.
Well, I mean, I would hope his name's not actually Shaggy.
So to discover that it's like, oh yeah, he's stupid rich, and that might be the way that they're actually keeping everything kind of running with the gang, with the van and everything else, like that kind of thing. Yeah, Norville. That's not not Norbert. Norville. Yeah, kind of great to find that out.
I mean, I kind of hope that we see like a resolution to the story, just because I'd be curious to see the judgment on it.
I want to think that good things can happen, like when people try to make a thing happen. It's like I want to see like a bunch of growth and good stuff come out of a suit like this, as opposed to just like a bunch of recrimination and yelling and now I want my money. Give me my fucking money, right?
I just want to see what the end of the story is.
Yeah, okay.
I don't have hopes for it or dreams, because that seems like a bad thing to think of.
I want good things to happen when bad things just look like they're going to happen. I'd rather have the good things happen instead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Finally today, Tomodachi Life. Very fun game. Very cool. Lots of neat stuff. It is not available for Android.
Oh no, who would guess?
It is a Switch exclusive.
Yes.
If you go into the Android store and see Tomodachi Live, Tomodachi : Live the Dream Life, Tomodachi Plaza, Tomodachi Life Living Dream, My Tomodachi Dream Life, My Tamagotchi Forever.
Tamagotchi. Yeah.
Tamagotchi. Anyway, if you see any of these other games, that's not Tomodachi Life.
Yeah.
But most of you watching probably knew that.
Yeah. My Tamagotchi Forever is actually made by Bandai Namco. It looked like in the listing, so that might be a real game. It's just not Tomodachi Life.
Yeah.
So there's some clones out.
It's the people using like. And because its name is like a little bit odd, they just like the slight, Tomodachi Live instead of Life.
I hesitate to call them clones when I don't know what they're about.
You're right,
because there are lots of games that use titles and are a different game completely.
Right. So they are falsely representing themselves.
Yes,
probably.
This is an article on Nintendo Life. It says perhaps the most hilariously of all, both apps are rated Peggy 12 for horror and in-game purchases, in contrast to the real Tomodachi Life, which is Peggy 3 because
Neither of
it
those
doesn't
things
have in-app
exist.
purchases or anything. Yeah.
Yeah.
But apparently they've amassed over 150,000 downloads. So please don't download that.
Well, in-app purchases, it's possible that a bunch of them are like free with in-app purchases.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. And if they're accruing downloads, then I wonder if there's like people are downloading to see what the thing is, because you assume it's unsophisticated users who are doing that, who don't really know the difference, and whether they stick with it or not, or whether it's like whatever it is that they're getting, if it's not the real game. Because I think that if it looked enough like the real game, like you're seeing on TikTok and you're seeing whatever, that it's like Mii's walking around and you can kind of do things, but they don't really do anything. Mm-hmm. And then it's like, oh, unlock this feature for 99 cents. Unlock this feature for $1.99. I figured that's how they're trying to extract money from people on the scam.
I don't know. I've never downloaded a
scam app.
A scam app.
Yeah.
I don't really want to test that.
Me neither.
Yeah.
As a side note, I love Nintendo Life is one of the sites that I go to quite a lot. It's good for Nintendo news. Speaking of talking about websites that you use or news sites, but it's UK site.
Yeah.
Which is great a lot of the time because they will be posting at times when the other sites won't be.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But it does mean that you get these great lines like, aside from a host of games with NAF AI generated artwork.
Love NAF. NAF.
Anyway, that's all we have to talk about today. Thanks for joining us. If you haven't seen the episode of ChillPoint that we were talking about, you should do so. It is up on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/LRVG. And it should also be hopefully recommended to you by the algorithm.
Yeah.
But remember that the algorithm doesn't necessarily have your best interests at heart. Mm-hmm. So
I like to use the subscription tab.
yeah.
Yeah. What you probably want to do.
Try subscribing to the channel.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you become a member, you can get your name in the credits at the end.
Yeah.
Of ChillPoint.
Of
ChillPoint.
Yeah.
And you can check out stuff from our store.loadingreadyrun.com. It is in fact not 40% more expensive than it used to be.
No.
That was a hilarious joke.
Great. I wasn't here for it.
Yes, you were.
For when you said the store was 40% more expensive?
Yeah, that was at the beginning of this episode.
That was the intro of the episode.
Oh,
you
shit.
Listen to Paul when he talks.
I do. I completely forget that came up. Shit. Okay. Yeah. I thought, or maybe I was thinking you meant the site, like Loading Ready Run itself was, or ChillPoint was 40% more expensive than normal. Anyway, patreon.com/loadingreadyrun, another great way to support us.
If you want to give 40% more over there, that would be okay too. Yeah. But don't have to.
Thanks everybody for joining us, and we will talk to all y'all later.